I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim, and today is Truth Tuesday, a time we have to be very careful to not overreact to what's happening and try to take a pause, a moment to reflect upon what really is going on. While our president continues to push for war during a time when we're wondering if he's working with Russia or Ukraine or any number of other foreign leaders because he doesn't want to record any of his conversations, we're now wondering if the specter of a war diversion is in place here. Is Donald Trump engaged in a war diversion? We likely are dealing with that, and let's just assume we are dealing with a tragic event where a guy who's going down is now trying to take everyone around with him. Now, this is exactly how a person who is a liar would react to all the different accusations against him. He refused to tape any conversations with Putin or Zelensky, nothing, not one audio tape. He refused to present his IRS birth certificate, his IRS tax returns. I was going back to Obama. His IRS tax returns. He refuses to be transparent about what he's doing behind the scenes. He met with Saudi Arabian leaders, and he's talked about gas prices recently. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of what's going on. Iran has countermeasured the attack on General Soleimani, and they have come up with a series of attacks on our fighters. We just got information immediately from Twitter that looks pretty credible. Iran attacks 2 Iraqi bases, houses U.S. forces in revenge for Soleimani's death. That's credible. Iran is threatening Dubai and Israel. Breaking news, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said in its Telegram channel that in the event Iranian soil is bombed, it will target the cities of Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and Haifa, Israel, in the third wave of operations. So we know that the attack on the bases, Iraqi bases with Americans in it, probably led to casualties. We still have no clue as to how many people really did die. Yes. But we'll find that out later. So Trump, in following up on his threat, he's going to now engage in what I guess is an attack on 52 soft targets, some cultural centers, he said, despite what his new Secretary of the Defense has said, that he wouldn't hit cultural centers, but Trump may just do that. Now, we are of the understanding as a third party, because I'm a non-interventionist, I'm against war. I'm trying to find a pathway around this that would not escalate, because as we escalate and move forward toward a volley of Air Force attacks back and forth, leading to tactical nuclear weapons, and eventually, if Israel is attacked, the Samson option can be deployed. Yeah. So what is the Samson option? Everyone would like to know. Israel's never ever admitted that they have nuclear weapons. They've never actually discussed their nuclear arsenal. But the Samson option is a danger to the world. And if Israel feels threatened and they deploy the Samson option, we have to look at this scenario. Let me pull up a little blog about that. Israel's psychotic leadership has openly stated that if Israel's existence is in any way threatened by another country, like a nuclear Iran, for example, even though Iran would never dream of nuking them, then Israel reserves the right to send its nukes to a plethora of cities all over the world, particularly European cities. That's what we really want to avoid. The Samson option. So as long as Israel feels that we're defending them as best we can with air power, they're not likely to use the Samson option. But it has always been in the background of this entire thing that some country would have so many secret operations going on that they would ultimately step on the wrong toes and lead to a full-scale nuclear conflagration. So that's what we're kind of worried about right now. But on the upside, so far, Trump hasn't followed up on his attacking of 52 cities. Now, if he chooses to do this, 52 targets, if he chooses to do this, then again, this is all on him. The Russian influence right now is so questionable and so disturbing, it poses a national security risk to even broach the issue. What if Donald Trump is doing this for Vladimir Putin? Now, hear me out. This is really a strange scenario, but it makes a lot of sense from a strictly greedy point of view. It came to me that Donald Trump, working for Putin, admittedly was blackmailed by Mueller, or Mueller said rather that Russia blackmailed him, and Mueller said that Russia blackmailed him during the election with the sex tape. I'm just quoting Mueller in the testimony. Because of that, it's very likely that all kinds of things are being used to manipulate Donald Trump on the background. If that's the case, then it's really out of the control of the Pentagon. It's really out of the control of our top State Department officials. They're dealing with a guy who's been systematically firing the best of the best. John Kelly, Rex Tillerson, General Mattis, all the best of the best have been pushed aside so that he could engage in what appears to be impeachable offenses. Yeah. So now that being the case, and dealing with the fact that he's willing to conduct impeachable offenses left and right, and have a secret relationship with Putin, it's possible that Putin wants us to attack a target in Iran, or many targets, to increase the price of fuel. Oil. Very important. They want to make money on their oil. Believe me, Putin is struggling. Their entire economy is smaller than the economy of Texas. So they really don't have a lot of money, but they want money. And the only way they can get money is to draw from their oil supplies. So Trump very likely is being used in a three-way play between Prince MBS and Vladimir Putin, trying to conspire to get a higher price of fuel, because that would better Prince MBS too. He wants more money for oil. Why would he want to sell his barrels of oil for less than he should? So this is all going to hit the American consumer straight between the eyes. And we're all going to bear the brunt of Donald Trump's, let's pretend like he's going to start a World War III scenario. Or this could be a World War III scenario, and nothing I can say or do would even mitigate the dangers of what's to come. So it's time to kind of take a step back and say, what do we really see here? Do we really see a real possible World War III scenario unfolding? Your guess is as good as mine, actually. But I do believe the Russian influence may very well be at the very core of this, because they want to get higher prices. They also want Iran to buy more defense weapons like S-400s, which Russia claims is their best defense weapon and that they can sell anybody. They just sold one recently to Erdogan of Turkey, which upset our plan to sell them F-35s. We said that we're not going to sell F-35s to Turkey if indeed they buy the S-400. They did anyway. Anyway, Erdogan says it's ridiculous what Trump did. Everybody is piping in on this. Let's go to a couple of breaking news stories. Putin is open to conversation with Bashar al-Assad, now that Putin is in charge of Syria, because Trump pulled out because Putin asked him to, I'm sure. Basically, Putin got his way and now is going to use Syria as an ally to launch perhaps a series of strikes on any number of targets in the West, maybe even Israel. We don't even know. But why he meets right now, a surprise visit comes as regional tensions intensify over Syria's ally, Iran, vowing response to Soleimani's killing. If this is his intent to meet with Erdogan, or rather Assad, to shore up this position, it's very likely Russia will take Iran's side in this. And if they do, and we're compromised, and our entire ally network of NATO officials who are having problems with Trump right now are compromised, then we could face a serious long-term battle in this region, and most of all, a national security risk with Donald Trump taking orders from Putin, putting our men at risk. The worst possible scenario. And all of this is because you Republicans refuse to admit that Donald Trump did anything bad with Russia, when we know for sure that he's collected tons of money for the past 15 years to keep his business afloat, and ultimately uses that money, and they have a leverage over Donald Trump with that money. The Deutsche Bank $1 billion loan is just one of them. Unconfirmed from John Rothschild. Iraqi Shiite militias aligned with Iran are saying they have launched operations against U.S. presence in Iraq. Okay, we'll see how that works. An armed attack on a U.S. presence in Iraq from within is a definite problem, and we've always had problems with Shiite militias working within the ranks of the Iraqi military. So this is nothing new that we haven't experienced before, but it's certainly something that we don't need right now. So why is Donald Trump doing all this? Because Donald Trump is guilty as charged, and he doesn't want to be impeached. And he doesn't want the truth to get out, the ultimate truth to get out, that Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham are working for Russia, which they are. Now, why wouldn't the Democrats raise that's the specter of that fact? Why wouldn't they talk about this? Because haven't you figured it out yet? It's not about Trump's corruption. It's about making sure you don't find out about their corruption. That's what they're up to. That's why the Democrats don't want to tell anybody that Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham are working for Russia. Because they can't. They'll lose money from Russian backers and Ukrainian backers and other people around the world that are trying to buy them off. Our government officials are cheap whores willing to work for re-election funds. That's how sick this situation is. Cheap whores. All of them. And that's why I've been building this effort to challenge the two-party system for so long, because they've done nothing to prove otherwise. They'll do whatever they can. $5,000 donations, they'll jump and say, can we meet for drinks? Oh yeah, they're cheap whores willing to work for money coming from foreign agents. That's called compromising our national security, and the Democrats are just as guilty as Donald Trump. Trump has been a slave of Israel's bidding, a Zionist puppet, much like Joe Biden. Both of them brag about being Zionists. Israel's our ally. We don't need to do their foreign policy around the world. Even if they're our ally, we don't need to do their bidding. But we're being used by the Zionist powerful groups like AIPAC and the Russian Zionists that control Donald Trump to do just that. So Congress has turned into a bunch of cheap whores with STDs looking for more cash so they can get through a few rounds of election and buy some more media time. These people love being in office. That's why we don't have any term limits. They won't surrender their position. What about our soldiers on the USS Liberty that were attacked by Israel? LBJ just completely erased that. Good point, Mr. John, David John. Yeah. I like Jewish people, and I've always liked Israel. I have a lot of respect for Israel, and the people of Israel are watching me right now, I'm sure. We've got viewers in Tel Aviv every night. And I have nothing bad to say about the country per se. It's not the people of Israel. It's the leaders that created the state of Israel that don't even live in Israel. Rothschilds, for one. These people put together the Balfour Declaration in 1914, before World War II. And people like Adolf Hitler, a Christian Zionist, he supported that. Believe it or not, Hitler wanted a homeland for the Jews. I know that sounds hard to believe, but it's true. That's why he killed so many, to justify a homeland, a safe haven for people who had been victims. It's hard to believe anyone would do such a thing, but it's actually true. Hitler didn't even want to kill Jewish people initially. He actually went to a mufta, a Muslim leader, to ask what he should do with them, because he wanted to send them to Israel. I know that sounds impossible to understand, but it's corroborated by facts. Take a look at Netanyahu and his statement about that, and you'll understand the real reason why Hitler did what he did. Kind of a shocker for many people. And I in no way supported Hitler. My goodness, he's a horrible person who should never have ever gotten away with it. But our government just turned a blind eye to what Hitler did.
And this attack and other attacks on the Jewish community in 1920, 1921, 1929 were instigated by a call of the Mufti of Jerusalem, Haj Amin al-Husseini, who was later sought for war crimes in the Nuremberg trials because he had a central role in fomenting the final solution. He flew to Berlin. Hitler didn't want to exterminate the Jews at the time. He wanted to expel the Jews. And Haj Amin al-Husseini went to Hitler and said, if you expel them, they'll all come here. So what should I do with them? He asked. He said, burn them. And he was sought in during the Nuremberg trials for prosecution. He escaped it. Later died in cancer after the war, died of cancer in Cairo. But this is what Haj Amin al-Husseini said. He said, the Jews seek to destroy the Temple Mount. My grandfather in 1920 seeks to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So this lie is about 100 years old.
I don't doubt what Netanyahu is saying is true. I mean, and unfortunately, all those Jewish people that did die suffered the greatest atrocities on earth. But the problem was the Nazis weren't punished. Only 29 Nazis were punished for the death of millions of Jews. And the 29 death sentences went out from the Nuremberg trials. And it's ironic that so many people weren't prosecuted. They actually had to find a new home. So many of them moved to America. Many of the Nazis and Ashkenazis decided to become Jewish people. Under cover of being Jewish, they were then given all kinds of latitude and leniency. And when they came to America, they became big donors. These ex-Nazis, they're Ashkenazis actually. They became big donors of various synagogues. And most of those synagogues were Orthodox at the time and now have become Reform Jews who will accept even Ashkenazis as Jewish, even though their mother's mother is not Jewish. They like the money. And therein lies the nest of money that incubated the Donald Trump administration. He was running out of money around 2000, and he turned to his son, Jared Kushner and Ivanka, and they brought him to Chabad Leibovich, where he met Russian oligarchs. And that's where this story starts. 2000 approximately, and then Donald Trump started, all of a sudden, had lots of money. Cash. Big cash, suitcases filled with cash. He would purchase buildings with cash. Now, I don't know about you, but that's the sign of a mobster. Plain and simple. your president, claimed to have all this money when in fact it was cash from Russian oligarchs giving him money to do their bidding here in America, and now he's our president. And you Republicans are like, no, that's not possible. Trump is a great man. He's helping America. No, he is using you to pad his own pocket and avoid any retribution from people who have the dirt on him. He's a national security risk. He has a financial debt to Deutsche Bank worth $1 billion underwritten by a Russian oligarch. So all of this is very, very disconcerting and makes you wonder what's really going on. Well, strangely enough, the Justice Department under William Barr is turning on Michael Flynn. Turning on Michael Flynn, who was our national security advisor for 24 days and a Russian oligarch, working for Russia directly as a Russian agent. Now, William Barr has now decided he's no longer somebody he wants to support. Now, that's very strange. Very strange. Now he wants to give Michael Flynn 6 months in jail. When William Barr, this is really weird, William Barr wrote a 19-page letter to Rod Rosenstein saying, don't investigate Michael Flynn. That was before we even knew Michael Flynn was a Russian agent. That would indicate that William Barr should recuse himself right now from the Justice Department, not in any way prosecute Michael Flynn. He tried to write a letter to get us to stop investigating a Russian agent. Now the Russian agent is probably willing to talk. He's probably saying, yeah, I'll turn on William Barr. So William Barr is trying to shut him up and send him to jail. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of things in the works here. Very strange. Pentagon says the letter removing troops from Iraq was a mistake, and Iraq says no takebacks. So our president is so out of control that he had a letter drafted claiming we were leaving Iraq, and then he launches a war against Iran. Are you serious? And Iraq, they don't know why they got the letter, but they're saying, no, we want you out. So now this is a real controversy within the cabinet on top of his blundering move of attacking the General Soleimani and his 5 attendants that were there with him. Now they came back on a coach. They're flying coach. I don't know where they're being sent, but they're being sent somewhere. The caskets of the men that died in the initial raid on Soleimani's residence or location. I'll play that for you. And then I'm going to queue up a live shooting event right now. So 6 caskets in all taken away. I am very sure that if Donald Trump were to act quickly, I mean quickly, he could decimate Iran right now. He could wipe it off the face of the earth. But why is he waiting? Why is he hemming and hawing right now? This is valuable time. I mean, he could easily do this. Why was he now hesitating? Anybody know why Donald Trump is holding back and he's not really attacking right now? No carpet bombings have been ordered. I'm not sure why Donald Trump is hesitating. Unless he grew a brain cell and realized we cannot bomb a nation of 82 million people and expect to prevail long term. If anything, it'll be just a pile of rubble. And then the retaliation and the death to our troops and possibly aircraft carriers in the neighborhood. That's right. The answer is Donald Trump is controlled by Putin. It's I'm going to throw this out there and say that we're probably not going to see a ramping up right away. They want to milk this for all the money they can make on the oil. They want to make sure they can get the most out of this. So it's highly unlikely Donald Trump will carpet bomb Iran. If he's going to start this process, he's going down a very dark road quickly, and it could escalate rather quickly as well. We could be looking at the Samson option rather quickly. But if Donald Trump is just simply taking orders from Putin, which is pretty obvious that he is, this is as far as he goes. There won't be any more engagements beyond that. But if he's trying to prove he doesn't care what Putin thinks, then he'll start attacking right away, and he'll carpet bomb the whole nation. Wipe him off the face of the earth. But hopefully some of the people in the Pentagon have a brain too and wouldn't do that. Okay. We've got Bloomberg and Trump buy Super Bowl ads at $10 million each. So Donald Trump is running for re-election. Wow. Fighting an impeachment and starting a war. This is hilarious. This is right out of like an All in the Family sitcom, where Donald Trump is Archie, the reigning racist, sitting from his little perched chair with his TV and his remote control, and his wife in the other room pretending to be interested in having a relationship with him. This is pathetic. We really are catering to a man's ego right now. So as far as we go, Trump is trying to pat his own pockets. He's trying to do whatever Putin tells him to do. So chances are this isn't going to escalate any farther than just a few days of attacks. Then we'll see the price of oil skyrocket. We got a call here. Hang on. Okay, go ahead. What's your question, Wisconsin? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. Hang on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the reality of most war. Innocent people praying for their loved ones, yeah. I'm from Iran, buddy. I hope your dad will be safe. We don't want war, yeah. So they're attacking the embassy again, you're saying?
A U.S. base.
Okay.
They attacked a U.S. base. God damn it. Alright, maybe I should have a link ready, right?
Well, that's okay. Let me play this link while you do that. Missiles landing in Iraq from Iran right now. Let me just do that. I'm going to play this on the side.
يا ابو الحسن يا علي يا علي يا ولد ابو جود يا ولد يا ولد لا اله الا الله لا اله الا الله لا اله الا الله يا علي عجل خير علي لا اله الا الله دير بالك يا ولد على امريكان ثاني على امريكان دير بالك لا اله الا الله ويقطع جوا خبر النظام مقدم عليه عندك 10 اثباته خبرهم.
Okay. We lost the caller. I will take the call again if you want to call back, caller. Go ahead. Well, we just saw something going on. The Pentagon, no. It's just, if this man wants to call back, he can call back. Yeah. If you want to post your links too, that was an interesting link. This is located west of Baghdad. The Pentagon says Iran launched more than a dozen ballistic missiles at the U.S. and coalition forces in Iraq, many of which hit the Al-Assad air base located west of Baghdad. The Pentagon says missiles were also shot at U.S. military and other personnel in Erbil, Iraq. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Iran is firing back on Iraq, and that is an ongoing revision of the previous war of 1988, I believe, the Iran-Iraq War. Yeah, so we're kind of going back in 1980. It began in 1980, and ended in 1988. It was an 8-year war, the Iran-Iraq War. So we could be looking at another 8-year war. But I didn't hang up on anybody at the Pentagon. He's welcome to call back, but... hello? Well, I've never been involved in anything negative. Yeah, they have nothing on me. There are people that claim they have all kinds of dirt on me. I've done nothing. I have no dirt on me. I've been the cleanest, most honest person on earth. I live with a standard of ethical integrity that is, I'm like a paragon of virtue. Okay, we've got possible people, chatters over at Rose Warren was Russian too, really? Okay, I have not read your links, Channing C. Rich. I'm going to read what you're saying. It's all a setup. Okay. Putin is in Syria, right? He's working with Assad. Oh, you can't come in here and promote Trump. I'm going to have to ban you. Yeah, Trump is a complete suck-up to Putin. Yeah, you're an idiot who hasn't realized that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to ban you. You don't realize we're not a Trump supporter group here. This isn't the Trump outreach help support a nutcase for president. Well, that's your mistake if you promote Trump here in this chat. You're not allowed to. That's a mutable offense. Yeah, you can't possibly support his war diversion. How could you? Your own life is at risk. The price of gas is going to go up. Things could get bad. Yeah, we don't allow Trump supporters here. Didn't you get the memo? Yeah. Okay, so maybe you should leave. All right. I'll just let you leave. Channing C. Rich, please go. I don't want to have to ban you and report you to YouTube or to Periscope. Yeah, you're harassing us. Bye. Everything is beautiful. Let's do a kind of a meditation session where we can kind of relax and enjoy ourselves. Oh, that's right. You've got Sarah. She'll be coming in a little bit and talk to you. Very calming person. Yeah, nothing to freak out about. Donald Trump is doing what Putin wanted to raise the price of oil. You'll be paying through the nose for what's going on right now. Iran has specifically threatened to attack the cities of Dubai and UAE, United Arab Emirates, and Haifa in Israel if America retaliates. 12 minutes ago, Iran has stated that if the U.S. does not respond, they will stop attacking. Okay. If the U.S. attacks, Iran is responsible to target U.S. and allies in the region. 22 minutes ago, Pentagon assessing battle damage reports from before releasing assessments. Current reports seem to indicate no U.S. casualties. There are reports of Iraqi casualties. 28 minutes ago. And this guy's being buried. Soleimani he's transported by coach and he'll be buried. U.S. military reports that they watched missiles being prepared prior to attack. Okay. So they were preparing an attack and Soleimani was trying to put together an attack and they intercepted it, which makes sense. So if that's the least of our worries, then we accomplished our goal. Meanwhile, if Donald Trump does intend to follow up on his ridiculous threat of killing off 52 different targets, then we have to wait to see if this will elevate to a WW3 scenario. Great, so we can relax now, folks. You're just going to get nailed at the gas pump. No biggie. Now, David Spoonheim came from the future. He's here. He's a time traveler. He said, David, in the year 2031, you'll be elected president by landslide. Your opponent will be named Robert Richards, great-grandson of former Governor Ann Richards, Democrat of Texas. Okay, good to know. Hey, thanks. It's great to have time travelers in the show. You guys are awesome. Yeah, and you know I'm one of the most watched films in history, as you know. My shows have been watched. Remember way back in January of 2020 when all of this started? Well, you're watching it right now. Yeah. And you're already 50 years in the future. And you're watching in real time because everything I do is recorded for perpetuity. Isn't that great? I know. Well, the car, Carl, is not running on BS. It gets really good gas mileage. Yeah, we have a car. I have an Insight. Sarah has an Insight. We both have these great cars. Well, thanks, my cat Fluffy. Yeah, appreciate it. I'm thankful that I look great in these light colors. This is the way I'm supposed to look. Angelic. Truth Tuesday these are the colors of Truth Tuesday. But as you can see, in 2008, 11 years ago, I started trying to stop the New World Order and Barack Obama and his completely corporatist mentality.
Hi, good morning. As you can see, I'm still wearing the shirt I wore last night and yesterday at Blog TV. It's exhilarating to do Blog TV. We've been having an incredible time. This is in fact day 54. I thought yesterday was day 54, but we did a recount, and we determined that today is day 54 as we approach the election.
So as you can see, I've been doing this a long time. Yeah, in 11 years I've been trying to wake the American people up, and I have been censored for 11 years by the mainstream media. I got one little itsy bitsy thing out there and they shut down my show. They claimed I was some sort of a racist when I simply did an impersonation video of Barack Obama in blackface. I've never been a racist in my life. Yeah, that shirt was great, wasn't it? I still have that shirt. I'll wear it sometime to prove I am not a robot. Some people believe that I'm some sort of a CGI image, and I couldn't possibly be the same person. Ha 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 ha. So you notice how I got your mind off of Greta for a while?
If we can save the banks, if we can save the banks, if we can save the banks.
Yeah, I helped you with that. I am not AI. I am human, like you. I don't wear thrift store underwear, Carl. Yeah. I would never buy underwear at a thrift store. That's ridiculous. Well, no one else is saying anything. Say something. Say something. Nice. There you go. We've been shadow banned on various networks, one of which is, of course, the Illuminati-controlled Twitter, as well as the Illuminati-controlled YouTube. So we're having problems with just getting our message out past the shadow banners, the people that ban us on these networks, and they're actually writing that into their terms of service. Twitter is putting out terms of service saying that they can pretty much knock anybody off of their being seen if they want. So when you go on Twitter, you don't know if anything you're posting is actually being seen. We're giving you real-time data. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the Reddit post of Iran conflicts and potential World War III. We're giving you cutting-edge information as it comes in. Yes. Let's go ahead and refresh and see what else came in live. 5,859 viewers. Connecting. Okay, we're good. 11 minutes ago, Iran specifically threatened to attack the cities of Dubai, UAE. So if Iran is averting a U.S. attack by threatening us, then Donald Trump is probably doing the right thing and not attacking. But if Donald Trump does attack 52 cities like he promised he would, because he's a man of his word and I'm always going to back up my statements, which hasn't been the case, he never did anything he was saying what he was going to do, then Donald Trump will probably, if he does attack those 52 cities or targets, he probably will start World War III. So we're kind of right on the teetering point of World War III. That's where I would describe where we're at in our show. Now, Iran just experienced an earthquake, which many people think might even be artificially created. You never know. Maybe we're using tactical weapons like tectonic weapons. You got to wonder. Let me take a look at that. That's right. Iran just suffered a 5.0 earthquake, the southern portion of Iran. They're using tectonic weapons against Iran. Whoa! This is amazing! Did you feel the earthquake? So Iran is getting an earthquake. Some people are thinking oh, Allah has spoken, he is condemning us, or God's will put these people in hell. But in reality, earthquakes are something that can be created with weapons, weather warfare weapons, and our country has them. So that means if we're using a weather warfare weapon against Iran, what's to say they aren't going to use an EMP against us, an electromagnetic pulse that could knock our electricity out for years to come. So if the entire grid goes down, you'll know it was an Iranian EMP that Donald Trump inspired with his elevated desire to attack an Iranian general. Yeah, isn't that special? Well, isn't that super special? Oy vey. No worries, we got the F-35. Yes, a floating bucket of bolts. Wonderful, without even a gunner. Such a deal. Shiny puffy coat, why aren't you in the screen? We love to see your puffy coat. Okay, hi, welcome. John McCain, bomb, 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 Iran. So how do we know anyone is in those boxes? Good point, Scissor Fight. Sorry I haven't read your chat in a couple hours. Minutes, sorry. Trump just makes things worse and worse. I know, I agree, Add the One. He makes TV decisions from his TV. It's like he's sitting there with his tablet. Have you guys seen the sex tape of him standing with two prostitutes urinating on each other yet? You haven't seen it. Okay, we're taking calls. If you want to go ahead and call in, you can. Or you can wait till after Sarah gets back and maybe you have your link ready to go. Thank you for calling in, Trump Tardo. Oy vey. Joe Biden has called for Social Security cuts 3 times. How are we going to make ends meet? Many of you people living on a fixed income aren't going to make your money. What is this Joe Biden trying to take away Social Security? Oy vey. Well, one thing you can rely on Joe Biden and Donald Trump is they support Israel. That's for sure. And boy, do they. In case you haven't noticed, we've got a battle brewing on Capitol Hill in less than 18 months. Americans will head to the polls to decide who should lead the country for the next 4 years. There are seemingly new Democrats throwing their hats in the ring for presidency each week. Oh, really? I didn't know that. The program's $2.89 trillion in asset reserves, i.e. the aggregate net cash surpluses saved up since inception, are forecast to be exhausted by 2035 as a result of numerous ongoing demographic changes. Like people work less and are collecting more and the age is getting older. I didn't hang up on the good callers. No, you were a good caller. I just didn't. The phone was dying. It's the weirdest thing. The battery pack fell out during our call. I didn't hang up on you. Yeah. Well, since this isn't going to expire until 2035, let's just relax, okay? I've got some solutions for Social Security that will basically resolve the problem, no problem whatsoever. One of those ideas is to expand the payroll to anyone above $120,000 pays this tax. Problem solved. We'll bring in lots more money. David, people are asking if you want to date. No, I don't date. I'm involved with Sarah. What are you saying? You feel the earth move under your feet. You feel the sky tumbling down. Yeah, I know. You just lose control down to your very soul. Well, I'm not going to worry about Social Security, okay? I don't plan on collecting anything. Let me just get this straight. I don't really like our government. Just so to be completely frank. I actually dislike aspects of our government that should have been removed a long time ago. But we still have the bureaucracy that we were stuck with. So one of the reasons why I'm running is because I don't like the government that much. But I see it as the only way we're going to solve the problems facing our country. Reduce the size of big government and create smaller, low-paying jobs for more people. That's kind of the concept behind our hybrid capitalism thing. Hey, well, Sarah is here. I am here to give you the show. We've got an earthquake that hit Iran, 5.0. I don't know if it was geoengineered or what, but that's a serious story.
HARP?
Could be HARP, yeah, you never know. I've got a Reddit post with the updating information for you. Nothing really much more to say. That gives you a synopsis of what's happened. We're still waiting on any casualties, but so far no U.S. casualties. And Trump did say that if a U.S. person is attacked, he would retaliate with 52 cities or 52 targets. Well, so far, we don't have any U.S. casualties yet. Iraqi casualties, yes, but not U.S. casualties. So maybe Trump's just going to hang it up there and say, yeah, we did our thing. We raised the price of oil. He did whatever Putin asked him to do. All right. You should not be scared. Relax. You're just going to be paying through the nose at the pump for your gas. Expect that. Well, let's be clear.
Things will settle down eventually.
The stock market had a down day, but not a big down day. And the futures have dropped 400 points. So futures are suffering right now for all of you stock investors. Yeah, you people, John and Cage reminded everybody, you people realize we left England to escape high taxation. Thank you, John. It's exactly why we left England.
Considering we're next to a Navy base, I don't think we're the targets, but the Navy base could be.
Yeah, we're always under
Hopefully
threat.
not.
We're always under threat. Sarah and I live under constant threat of attack. You know that.
Yeah. I mean, people come on the show and are like, oh, David, Sarah, whatever. Darling companion, okay. But I don't think David would be targeted directly. Oh, okay. One moment. I just have to pull something up. Thanks, Sarah. Okay, one moment. Yeah, you want me to buy a Raytheon? Your Raytheon stock is popping. I know you did ask me a few days ago if I bought Raytheon stock. I just don't feel like doing that. Techwalla, good evening, David. They're threatening to attack Dubai? Well, because it has complex infrastructure that they can blow up and simply rebuild. Yeah, isn't it, there was a show by John Cusack about something like that. Like, it wasn't Wag the Dog, but it was a War Inc. War Incorporated, yeah. Hello, Ad One. Do I prefer Brussels sprouts or spinach? I probably prefer spinach. I should bring home some rainbow chard I have in my garden. That would be really good. It's kind of like spinach, but chard is really good. I should do that. Here's a hug for you, DJ Sammy on demand. Happy New Year. I am well. Thank you. I'm sorry you miss us. I'm happily in a great relationship, so. Iran launched a second wave of missiles at U.S. bases in Iraq after bombarding 2 American sites with at least 12 rockets. Wow. What, do you have a date for us, David Spoonheim? Good. This time of year, particularly, Brussels sprouts seem to have a sweeter flavor in the winter months. You love spinach and you're out of spinach? I'm lucky that I have some rainbow chard. I keep saying I'm going to harvest that, but I never do. Ah, got it. Okay. But you can say with certainty it's not happening now. Dark kale will do for healthy eating. It definitely doesn't have the same taste as spinach, but it's okay. I'm sorry. Don't worry, be happy. I would give you some, but yeah. You don't like kale. What do you mean, Carl? I don't know what you're talking about. David likes spinach and eggs. I like cauliflower. Even cauliflower and eggs. Read your lips, kale sucks. I'll tell you one thing that is okay for kale is if you do kale chips. So you take your kale, you rub it in olive oil, and then you put a little bit of salt on it, dust it with salt. No, it's true that I dislike eggs. And you bake it in the oven until it turns crispy and no longer like floppy, and eat that, and then it's like you're eating a chip. I think it's the texture, and I like that kind of kale. I have eaten Cheez-Its in the past. One thing I just saw at Costco, I didn't get them, but there was, because David doesn't like Cheez-Its because they're GMO. So anyway, I saw this cauliflower Cheez-It looking thing made out of cauliflower instead of gluten, and I thought, that might be something to try. You travel to the end of mankind in the beginning or at the before mankind or after mankind? I wouldn't want to do that. I do have you say onions and shallots. It reminds me of chives growing in the garden too. But then, what about the other end, a spade? It all tastes good going down, but... oh, weird. Oh, yeah. I've had both tomatoes and onions in eggs. David puts all kinds of things in eggs. I'm not a fan of tomatoes and eggs. I'm not a fan of eggs to begin with. And tomatoes and eggs, it just makes it wet, and I don't like that. Thanks, DJ Sammy. I love roasted garlic too. I don't really know how to roast it myself, but... I have heard that about olives, especially olive leaf powder. No, not all. Well, you know what? Testing scores in our district do show that, but not, yeah. Testing scores in general do show that. Poo. Well, the thing is, I bet your red peppers are sweeter than your yellow peppers, and your yellow peppers are sweeter than your green peppers, because that's the whole ripening process. They start off green on the vine, and if you leave them, they'll eventually turn yellow, and if you leave them longer, they'll eventually turn red. Oh, the fake Awesome Carl show. Sarah, set oven to 400, peel garlic, sprinkle with olive oil, roast in an oven for 25 to 30 minutes. Oh, okay. No, I wouldn't necessarily say that that's the only case. I would say a lot of it has to do with vocabulary and things like that. So, oh, David will like that, Lou. Thank you. Oh yeah, you're right. Green, yellow, orange, and then red. You don't like the orange? Yeah, red peppers are kind of sweet, and they have the red peppers. What's nice about red peppers and actually other things that are red, like watermelon and tomatoes, they have, I forget what it is. Ask David, he'll know. I think he'll know. There's something in red vegetables that are really good for prostate cancer, something like that. Prostates. Oh, good to know, Carl. Hey, Tiddly Dee. You're avoiding bed because you're not in the mood to go to work right now, and you know as soon as you go to bed, you'll have to wake up and go to work. Yes, thank you, Carl. Lycopene, that is correct. There will be a show when David returns in about 30 to 40 minutes. World War III is delayed for 24 hours until Trump has a TV intervention on Wednesday evening. Yeah, oh, that's pretty funny, Tiddly Dee. Hello, 943. Not yet, Bingalitis, not yet. Thanks, John, if you say so. A pill, huh? You think it's going to be that easy? Wait, you're giving all away all these other dates. I thought you said you couldn't do dates. Now you just ruined it for all those people that wanted to take that pill to cure themselves. Cure like it's some sickness. That's sick. That's sick. You have sleep apnea, you're sleep deprived. And truly you're sleep denied because you're watching me. Turn off all your electronics, you'll sleep better. It's a diversion to keep Kenny. I think it's a diversion so that Trump doesn't have the focus on his impeachment. That's my thoughts on Iraq. No, but David will do what he does, fake awesome Carl. Well, I think he was officially impeached, but you're right that he might not be removed from office. Impeached just means charged. If you're charged with a crime, doesn't mean you can still be found innocent of that crime. Or the trial doesn't have to go to court. Or anyway, Sponheim sounds like a Norwegian name, deeply. It actually is a Norwegian name. However, David is a full American. He was born in America, but his great grandfather or something like that, they were from Norway. I don't know which generation actually arrived in the United States, but I know both David and David's parents were all born in America. So it's good news you think your GI Bill converts to the post 9/11 GI Bill. And you might be able to use that on trekking school. Nice. No, David has not been charged with any crimes. Ever. That would be cool. I think it would be cool to go for you to go to trekking school. The thing is, once you get your, if you were able to get your commercial or CDL, I guess, commercial driver's license, at least here in Washington State, that's what you need, and then you can become a bus driver. Ooh, you know what? I don't know if some schools do this, but I think some schools might help you get your commercial driver's license as long as you agree to be like a bus driver for a certain number, for a year or something. You could try that. Paperwork. I don't mind paperwork too much as long as I've got a end game in mind. Hello, Push and Toe. My name is Sarah. Physically? David doesn't make me feel physically uncomfortable, no. Ah, you have a large motorhome you drive. No license is required for private operation. Interesting. 943 says trekking school is the best thing he or she's ever done. Okay. 36 months, full education benefits, and basic allowance for housing at that time. That's the GI Bill covers all that. It probably doesn't take 30. Someone would have told you to become a trucker 25 years before. Yeah, that's true. You probably won't get paid during school. Only 8 weeks, 2 months? Yeah. Hey, you should station with 943 about how you can. Trump Tardo. Driver's license out of the deal if you want to work for them. I think so, Canadian. And even if it does, I think you'll be fine. In my mind, a holodeck. I am working on developing those active little brains. And I love my job. I love what I do. I have no idea, John Uncaged. Things appear out of nowhere. Computer and then put it. Yeah, your jobs are the ones that don't like it. People have career. You fell for your babe, you were weak. Yeah. Ah, you were thinking of getting on with Schneider. Maybe they will pay for your CDL, or I don't know. Actually, I don't. David has this amazing house, so I live in, and so he provides me with what I need, and he cooks for me. I mean, seriously, if I cooked for myself, I'd probably be way worse than I am already. Way worse off. So I like what David does. Ah, good, True Blue. Well, some people call it that, Awesome Girl, but to me it's a house. I don't know, Bangalitis. I know, exactly, Metonymus. Try finding a man who cooks dinner for his partner. That's not easy. Yeah. Fishinto said he heard somewhere that within 15 years there won't be one human driving trucks anymore. It will all be auto-driven trucks. That might be true, but might as well make the most of it until that happens. Needed to teleport a person. You're probably right. I could have McDonald's with you every night. No thanks. You can cook a real mean grilled cheese. I can cook a real mean grilled cheese too. That's about it. You can't spell, but you can cook. Oh, good. How do David and I feel about breakdancing in the 2024 Olympics? Oh, is that going to be an event? Or is that what you're saying? That should be entertaining. The guests will order me anything off the $1 menu that I want. That's so funny. So hilarious. Oh, good. I know. I can't totally promise you that, Sosadi, but maybe.
Ate your dinner and you're all set. Nice and hot.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, good. Sarah, thank you for giving me this time away. We've had a few time travelers come in here and talk about our show being such a hit back in 2020. It's amazing. If you believe they're time travelers, though, that's the question. Yeah. Is there a racist person in here? We want you out of here. Okay? Racist person. Yeah, the time travelers are very active tonight. They want to find out exactly what we know about the future and how it will unfold with the coming nuclear war that Donald Trump is prophesizing for himself. Yeah, you put the entire fate of the world in the hands of a relative mentally retarded person. Donald Trump is not the smartest guy in the world. Despite his statement that he's a genius, he's not. Yeah, and he relies on bad intel from Russian leaders like Vladimir Putin. You time travel in your DeLorean machine. Yeah, I know. Well, Trump thinks he's a genius. Unfortunately, there's not one single stitch of proof that he is one. There's no test that was conducted showing his intelligence, and he himself struggles with words. You know, use your words, Donald. Can you say nuclear war? We should do Donald Trump meets Mr. Rogers. Don't you know that you'll hurt innocent people in Iran, Mr. Trump? Oh, I'm not sure if I care about the Iranian people. They're terrible. They're bad. They're very bad. Won't you be concerned if all those people are dead? No, not at all. I'm really quite happy about the death of innocent people, civilian targets. Yeah. Well, and what makes you sure everything's going to be okay, Mr. Trump? Well, my good friend Henry Kissinger assured me everything will be fine.
Everybody knows Dr. Kissinger, and we're right now talking about Russia.
Okay, yeah, you got your memo. Everyone knows. Yeah. He was an old potato there, and he's an old potato now. He was just visiting Xi Jinping. You like the hair? Thank you. Thank you for liking it. The hair likes you, too. Talk to my hair. I have an actual Facebook account set up for my hair. I didn't do it. Somebody else did. It's really a new world order. Anyway, you want to go look at some people being, attacked and blown up? Because I think a lot of you Trump-tards really like that feeling of dominance and winning. Except when American soldiers die. Yeah. So far, no major deaths so far. So the good news is no Americans have died yet. Meaning Donald Trump will not unleash the 52 targets in Iran. Yay! You're questioning my intelligence? I have an IQ test at davidsponheim.com, the results of which show that I'm a genius. You can go to my website, davidsponheim.com, and you'll see that. Oh, I'm sorry, that was David Sponheim. I was referring to Donald Trump. Yeah, we're all very concerned about Trump. We're way past caring about his mental health or his sniffling problem he had when he was, trying to debate with Russia's help. I'm not worried about that. I don't care if Trump is anything other than a profiteer. I mean, he really is just a guy who likes lots of money. And you knew that going into this, right? That your president was a national security risk? So you shouldn't be surprised by this behavior. He wants a big diversion to blow off the impeachment thing that could go down real soon now. But yeah, he's a very smart person in his own mind. If only we really knew the truth. The real Donald Trump. Oh, we're being DDoSed. Hang on. I must have said he was stupid.
Is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I went to the best colleges, or college. I went to Wharton. I had a situation where I was a very excellent student. I'm a person that very strongly believes in academics. I was a nice student. I have a very good brain, and I've said a lot of things. I understand things. I comprehend very well. Better than, I think, almost anybody. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words. I'm like a very smart person. I'm like a smart person. I'm a very smart person. It's like I'm a smart person. Very intelligent person. Like a lot of us are really smart. I'm really smart. We're going to have smartness.
To the truth that Donald Trump does not have an IQ test online like I do. Yes. My results for my IQ test in 1975 when I was 15 years old in 11th grade even shocked me. I didn't realize I was that smart. For real. And they said, "No, you're got 185 IQ, Dave." I knew I was the number one in my school. I knew I'd beat everybody, including people that are now professors at MIT. I beat them in math. I knew that I had everybody beat in almost every category, but I didn't know I had 185 IQ until they tested me. And then I realized that, hey, you better do something with your IQ, otherwise you're going to, waste it on some corporate job sucking, the rest of your life, wondering if you'll get fired at 55. Ugh. A lot of you guys worry about that, I know. Inventor Jim Genius, you are not Inventor Jim Genius. You are banned from the show. We don't allow people who impersonate Inventor Jim Genius. You are muted until you can prove you are Inventor Jim Genius by going over to the iVlog show and putting your mug on the screen. Do you comb your bald head? No, I don't. I don't have a bald head. I have hair, beautiful hair. In the future, I'm from Humans will be downloaded into the server, then rematerialized in past and present. You've been touching the LSD, I see it, Mr. David Spoonheim. Now, I've never taken acid or dropped LSD or any kind of a drug. I'm not like Barack Obama. I didn't smoke crack at Occidental. And I'm not like Elon Musk. I don't, smoke crack now to stay awake, Well, whatever. I'm not here to make fun of Elon. He has his own little niche out there, people that like to do crack with him. Yeah, Dave, you're pretty cool. But no, I'm here to talk about America's problems realistically and how we're going to fix them. Because obviously a lot of you are stressed to the max about the Iranian war Donald Trump is starting. Don't worry, it's just a diversion. He's working with Putin to try to raise the price of oil. And I'm sure Iran knows that too, so I think we got this under control. Once we figured out who was at play, a really corrupt world leader like Putin who wants more money himself, along with another corrupt person like Donald Trump, who likes money too. I like money too. Kind of like that movie Idiocracy. We got two idiots from the movie Idiocracy trying to create World War III, but they really just want more money for their oil. Yeah. Jim has been banned from iVlog for racism? Really? Okay. Well, that explains it, Jim. Well, I muted you, so if you come in here and stop supporting Trump, we'll let you stay in here, Jim the inventor. We've been decent to you, buddy. But no, you keep coming back like you're Mr. Trump Tardo. November doesn't matter. Trump is going to resign as soon as the truth comes out about all the money he made from Russia. Yeah. And you Trump Tardos, you people are real national security risks. You're traitors who are trying to undermine our foreign policy by pushing a Zionist directive, a Russian Zionist directive. I'm going to catch herpes, but luckily there's a cure in the future, so you'll be safe. I don't catch herpes. No, go away. You're a sick puppy. You're not a time traveler. It's proof, because I will never catch herpes. I wear a body rubber for crying out loud. Hey, Dave, how's that body rubber going? It feels kind of squeaky. It's like wearing latex. I guess some people have a fetish for that stuff. Putin is supplying Iran with weapons of mass destruction and leading us right into a trap. And now Donald Trump mindlessly going, "Oh, Mr. Putin, of course, don't show the sex tape. Please don't. I'll do whatever you say. Position my troops in Iraq waiting for your next move. Okay, sending 3,000 troops as we speak, Mr. Putin." God, you Trump-tards are so stupid. I got to drag you through intelligent thought piece by piece. It's almost unbelievable. I got to pull these people up, and they're all going, "No, it's all fake news. Oh, no, it's all Russian hoax." Yeah. And you're like little stupid morons that we're pumping. We got to pull you out of the moron hole that you're in, supporting Trump. Got to wake you up. It's amazing. I've got to drop logic on your brain and let it settle in, the slow osmosis. Finally realizing Trump is working for Russia. What do I have to do to explain it any clearer? Well, okay, we got lots of stuff to talk about. Kids are being manipulated. The pedophile project. Your 7-year-old is next on the Sexual Revolution hit parade. Yeah. I don't show children in the picture, but there are kids that are being exploited here, and I'll show you his face. Yeah, this is something that's happening right now. Oh, yeah. They're trying to dismiss, what we cannot dismiss is a campaign to legalize pedophilia as a fringy stuff that will get nowhere. It's real, it's here, and it's gaining strength among the Democrats. The Epstein case is spawning out of control. Yeah, it may be the most significant scandal in American history. The Epstein case is spawning as a wave of media and Hollywood projects, but I doubt any of them are covering the real story. The Illuminati wants to paint a picture that he was killed by some unknown person. They want us to believe that Michael Baden is telling the truth, that he was wrong about Epstein's diagnosis or his forensic analysis, that he did get killed. It was a murder. But that's just another ruse, another lie to cover up the fact that Epstein is alive today. Just as alive as Elon Musk. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, he's actually been seen 20 days after he allegedly died. And I'm sorry, I'm the only guy in the world who keeps bringing up this stuff. But I guess somebody's got to do it, right? But we're bringing up the rear here. Bringing up the rear. Hey, you're an absolute scumbag who's been paid to attack our show. So I'm going to kick you out of here. Yeah. I read very fast. I use a thing called ChatDar. It has not been patented. It may be the most significant scandal in American history. The Epstein case is spawning a wave of media and Hollywood projects. But I still think that Epstein is alive, as evidenced by this picture. Da-da-da. This was taken over Epstein's Little St. James Island, and he bought another island, Big St. James, which there's been no investigation of. Yeah, an $18 million acquisition that occurred right before he was arrested. But this was 2 weeks or 20 days after he allegedly died. And anybody, a moron, would know that was Epstein. He was wearing his signature shirt that he loves light blue shirts, just like he was here with Donald Trump. Seen 2 years before Donald Trump allegedly raped a 13-year-old girl. Yeah, allegedly. But look at this picture of the autopsy. How can anyone possibly think that's Epstein at the top of the picture? It's clearly a bag person. And then yesterday they revealed more pictures of the same bag person with a broken nose. And it doesn't even match Epstein's ear. I mean, who are they kidding? They must think we're all retarded. Well, you tardos, you definitely are retarded. But the other people in the country aren't, right? Some of you are really out to lunch. We've got one right here, held captive. No, actually, I'm just kidding. It's a GIF of Mr. Tardo, the future of America. There you go. Yeah, there you go, Mr. Tardo. Trump Tardo International presents Mr. Tardo. It's pretty funny. Bubbles, right, Bubbles. So you can clearly see that Epstein is not dead, right? Okay. That being the case, the liars in the two-party system refuse to open up an investigation into this. Instead, they want to make movies about it. Oh, yeah, let's do a movie concocting another story so everyone will think he's dead. What a crock of crap. Hey, Chelsea Clinton has reaped $9 million from a corporate board position. Talk about sucking off the corporate tit of mommy's little connections. Can you believe this? Chelsea Clinton, the person who has no personality. She's a big winner. And you will do nothing, and Trump has done nothing to prosecute the Clintons. He's a total puppet for the New World Order.
Chelsea Clinton has reaped $9 million in compensation since 2011 for serving on the board of an internet investment company, according to Barron's, the financial publication. Barron's reported Sunday that Clinton has profited handsomely as a board member for the IAC Interactive Corp., a media and internet investment company that has an ownership stake in 150 well-known brands such as Vimeo, Tinder, Angie's List, and HomeAdvisor.
Tinder and home. I wonder if she's going to share some of her, and I'm not kidding, the Church of Satan. Yeah, she's on their best friends list. All right, we covered those territories. We're still at the point where we know that Donald Trump hasn't done anything to prosecute. We know that Putin just met with Assad to shore up his defenses there and probably ultimately try to do whatever they're gonna do, whatever that is, making a deal there. Because remember, Assad got what he wanted. America left. Putin wins, and he acquired an airbase that we built. Isn't that nice? Your tax dollars built an airbase that Putin now owns, courtesy of Donald Trump. And this story about Harvey Weinstein, we covered it slightly. I got to cover it up. It's too much to look at. Another young woman, 16-year-old model, has come forth saying that she was violated by Harvey Weinstein. So he's entering his third trial now, and they'll just keep coming. Remember, 50 women allege that he raped them. Let's see if we have a picture of the 16-year-old model. Oh, there she is. Now we cannot confirm or deny, but she's 33 now, and I'm not sure who's repping her. Maybe Gloria Allred, but there is the beauty. There she is when she was younger. This guy's been getting away with a lot of stuff with all his money, and oh, we're getting DDoSed right now. He probably pays extra to have Black Mirror DDoS us. Okay, sorry I mentioned it, Harvey. But believe me, there are enough women that are going to prosecute you. You will have a hard time defending yourself. And if you can even walk, I understand his hemorrhoids are kicking in and he really can't walk very well. But that's private, between him and his proctologist. Okay, any other questions? Great. We can move on to where we're at, World War III. The edge of war. We are right on the verge of an international conflict. How about that, huh? He said he has elite supporters of 70-year-old toothless coal miners that will take the world to hell. Trump's going to make a speech tomorrow morning, everyone. He's too stressed out from this whole thing of him starting a war with Iran. So he's going to relax, probably get a body rub, and he'll be fresh tomorrow to talk about how he's going to create more war and constantly destroy your happiness. You have a Trump caller, really? I've been waiting for your call. I haven't gotten it yet. Yeah, remember, we have a window of opportunity of about an hour before we have Sarah come in again. So. Whoa. Pitoro. Indonesian rapist Renard Sinaga. Manchester. File. What do you got? We have the picture of a person alleged to be an internet rapist. Wow. Life sentence for this Indonesian who raped more than 100 men in Britain. Are you serious? He looks kind of mild-mannered, doesn't he? He lured men into his Manchester flat where he drugged and sexually assaulted them. Oh, okay. He used like roofie drugs to take them out and then assault them sexually. Give this guy life imprisonment and in fact, could they possibly do the death penalty there? Yeah. He drugged them, yeah. Once you draw, you shoot. Your dad always said, well, you never met a draft dodger before. Trump is a draft dodger. Yeah, he doesn't even have scars on his feet to prove he had foot surgery, so I'm pretty confident he lied about his bone spurs on his feet. He couldn't walk the terrain of Da Nang, where young men went off to die. 58,000 men died in Vietnam. And Trump was hiding behind his dad's desk office, working out a deal with taxes. Apparently, Donald Trump's podiatrist never paid rent. Yeah, we have confidence that that's true because the podiatrist's two daughters openly said it in an op-ed piece that their dad never paid rent, and Fred Trump was the landlord. Yeah, so he just signed whatever script Donald Trump needed. Sure. Oh, I don't want to go to war, Dad. I don't want to fight, no. Well, son, I'll give you a script for bone spurs. Oh, okay, good. Yes, we've got a draft dodger threatening World War III. That's where we're at. You Trump-tards are still going, no, that's just not true. Prove it to me. Show me his feet. And I don't have a foot fetish. I know you do, but I don't. Show me his feet. Show me the scars on his feet that prove that he had foot surgery. I've seen people with foot surgery for bone spurs. It's not pretty. There is a laparoscopic procedure that is done now that would show very small scars. I've seen those done. But the ones that were done in 1967, you can't mistake the scars that they left. Yeah. So if he doesn't have a scar across the underside of his foot, he didn't have bone spurs. If you're a criminal, it's open season. Atlanta police stopped chasing criminals. Oh no, this is zero hedge. This is CIA from they want to work up some sort of a riot in Baltimore or Atlanta. Yeah, this is a CIA operated site, zero hedge. I don't trust it ever since Steve Bannon took over, and it's been a disastrous site ever since. But they're saying that in a country where the balance of power swings wildly between law enforcement and criminals, Atlanta has launched a program that, as of this moment, will let crime run rampant without and police officers in pursuit. Literally. Hey, here's a typo. I'm beginning to think this is being run by a CIA AI intelligent computer or something. Yeah, I just don't get it. The syntax of the statement is wrong. Well, let's be clear. Maybe you can help me with this. In a country where the balance of power swings wildly between law enforcement and criminals, Atlanta has launching a program that, as of this moment, will let crime run rampant without and police officers in pursuit. Literally. That makes no sense at all. I'll bet the CIA AI system is operating in autopilot right now, trying to foment problems in Atlanta. Oh my God, we got the power. Oh my God, I got the power. David Donald News. David Donald News. God, I don't like looking at that rapist's face. Hey, that's video unavailable in my area. Yeah, we know about that video that Trump talked about Obama starting a war in Iran. Trump is doing it instead. Yeah, I know. We covered that a couple days ago. For all of you Trump-tards, I want all of you to know that this is all fake news about war. Donald is not starting a war. He's merely carpet bombing a nation who might have a nuclear weapon. Okay? For all of you who are worried about war, no. America's too brave and too strong and too incredible to ever start a war. All right? Notice how my little hands look even smaller? Yeah, he has little hands. Little dinky hands. Yeah, let's talk about his financial statements, his tax records. Where are those? You got to ask, what is this war diversion all about? Well, it's about covering up a lot of things. They don't want anyone to know that they're dumping chemicals on your head. In case you were wondering, weather modification is climate change. Yeah. Many people don't want to accept that fact. And we know that there's a lot of bad people out there that are trying to create more problems. Starting wars is just a way to make more money. All wars are bankers' wars. We know that.
Now, I want to share a story with you, and this is actually an article that I wrote over the weekend called All Wars Are Bankers' Wars. And I went in, I did a lot of research. It's posted to the front page of whatreallyhappened.com.
Yeah, well, it is kind of cool what Rivero did. Michael Rivero did a detailed study of wars and found that at every root of every war was a banker. You know who won the French-Indian War? The British. They financed both sides. Literally. Texas facing 10,000 potential cybersecurity attacks from Iran per minute, Abbott says. So they're increasing their cyber attacks on our country. They're going to be implementing all kinds of maneuvers to save face and make it look like they're fighting back. We know that Iran is consistently very upset about losing face. So chances are we're going to see something out of them. There's Mitch, Moscow Mitch. You go, Moscow. Let's hear what you got.
World's most active state sponsor of terrorism has been removed from the battlefield at the hand of the United States military. No man alive was more directly responsible for the deaths of more American service members than Qasem Soleimani, the leader of the Quds Force within Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
I think this guy went to school to talk really slow, because by the time people get tired of hearing what he said, they're so bored by him that they shut off. Mitch McConnell, everybody, Moscow Mitch. He receives money from Russian oligarchs. He's the guy running the show in the impeachment. We're determining whether Donald Trump is working for Russia or not, and he's receiving money from Russia. Do you see conflict of interest there at all? Or Lindsey Graham, he works for the same guy, Len Blavatnik. $3 million he's gotten over a 5-year period. And Len has got lots of money coming from Oleg Deripaska, the Russian oligarch who's been controlling and cheating in our election. Yeah, so it turns out Lindsey Graham is on tap with the Russians. There he is, Len Blavatnik. Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch, is on tap with the Russians. And we expect a fair trial with the upcoming impeachment hearing that the Senate's planning. I don't think we're going to get it. Yeah, you know what Mitch did? Add the one. He gave an aluminum mining contract, a Kentucky aluminum mining contract to Russians over a aluminum mining company based in Kentucky. Talk about Moscow Mitch. Wow. I wouldn't want to be living in Kentucky right now with him in charge. Now, last night we featured some really creepy stuff from Joe Biden. We got a new one. Check this out, everybody. That's the sign of a woman trying to escape a creepy guy. I'm not sure what that's all about. Why Biden continues to do these weird things. It's like he's got a compulsion to do this. No one can understand what his deal is. What's it all about? Biden, why are you such a perv? We don't know. We really haven't figured out, but we do know that aneurysm in his brain may be acting up.
What do I do? I can't talk. What do I do?
Don't do anything. Ask for help. Yeah, Mitch is asleep standing up. Good point. That's so true. Okay, so I pulled up a bunch of stuff I didn't get a chance to read. Luckily for me, I get to read it later. Iran conflicts, potential World War III. We covered the territory. I can review it again. Where we're at right now, let's take a look at the Reddit room on the Iran conflicts and potential for World War III. This is kind of the cutting edge online interface. Discussions, updates. Okay, refreshing, connecting. It's getting hit a lot right now. Retrying in 3 seconds. Look at this. Everybody's hitting on it. Yep, it's been flooded, everybody. So this is not even connecting. Iranian state media reported that Ukrainian passenger planes suffered technical errors before crashing shortly after takeoff. Okay, a passenger plane is down, a Ukrainian passenger plane, according to Iranian state media. Multiple sources reporting a Ukrainian passenger plane carrying 180 people crashed near Tehran. A Ukrainian passenger plane. Unclear if shot down. Unsure at this time if related to Iranian strike. This was just brought in before it shut down. We are planning on covering Trump's address tomorrow and any actions that may come of it. Yes. Recap of the situation for those of you joining us. Iran attacked al-Assad Air Base and Erbil with 15 ballistic missiles in retaliation for a U.S. drone strike that killed Iranian General Soleimani 5 days ago. There are currently no reports of U.S. casualties, but there are reports of Iraqi casualties. And President Trump has confirmed he will not make a statement tonight, but will be making one tomorrow morning. All right. The U.S. did not try to intercept missiles, but they were tracked by radar, allowing military personnel to take cover before they impacted. U.S. forces saw the initial missile buildup over the days following the drone strike. Okay. Iran has ceased hostilities, and the attack has seemed to be planned to be symbolic of the drone strike that killed Soleimani. Okay. Iran has stated that if the U.S. does not respond, they will stop attacking. If the U.S. attacks, Iran's response will target U.S. and allies in the region. So it's kind of nice that Iran has created a stopgap, a way to stop preventing another involvement. But if Donald Trump continues to want to attack targets in Iran for no reason, he'll be kept in check by that statement right there. It's all basically on him. I did refresh the page. I'm bringing it back. It's still disconnecting. So there's so many people hitting on this, it's overwhelmed at Reddit. No, I don't have any fake Trump hate. No, everything I say is just covering the territory. He won't produce any tax returns. He won't in any way show his any interviews or comments he's had with Putin. No tapes. And he attacks witnesses. Yeah, I've already talked about all this stuff. This is not some, big revelation. He attacks all the witnesses that confirmed he did a quid pro quo. He has no tapes of Putin. No IRS tax returns, even though he said he'd gladly show them. And now he's creating a war diversion. I don't know, man. It looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, walks like a duck. It's definitely a whale. Iran could have done damage to the target displays that they thankfully pussied out and went for a symbolic attack. Happy hour. Check in tonight. Hey, happy hour. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, so far it's a symbolic attack, and they're just saying, don't mess with us. If Trump decides to go after other targets, he said if any American is hurt, he'll go after 52 targets. So we're kind of at a brink point between doing something and not doing something. This could just be kind of a temporary stopgap. But if Trump does something as stupid as he did before, attacking a general, maybe he was justified. But will he be justified for attacking 52 targets now that Iran says, don't do anything else? We won't do anything else. It's kind of nice of Iran to actually say that, actually. Carl, please don't make any references to homosexuals in a negative way here. We know that you're obviously gay, which is fine. We're just happy you came out of the closet in good enough time. Hey, speaking of gay guys, I don't think this is a love affair. Although it does seem like two guys who are into plumping, Plumpers unite. Look at Michael Moore there with his good buddy, Harvey Weinstein. They must have had a real fun time at some club together, and they really are enjoying each other's special times. Special times. Oh, and look at this amazing thing. We were just covering the Gold Globes last night. And it's the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, spelled backwards, is Satan. Isn't that amazing? And who didn't want to listen to that amazing speech by that guy? I hope he's going to live through the next couple months, because it did seem like he was attacking all the biggest elements in Hollywood. The pedophiles, the racists. I mean, this guy... Michael Moore had a good documentary. That's right. He had a good documentary back in the old days, Roger and Me. What happened to Michael Moore is he became the 1%er. Do you want to know where Michael Moore lives? Check out Michael Moore's house. This is amazing if you haven't seen this. Yeah, he's not exactly poor. He lives in a mansion, an absolutely beautiful mansion. Look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous house? You don't do that by being, just a simple guy doing a documentary about General Motors. So, it's not like he's a poor guy. Nice. Tom, you have nicer places than that. Have you seen Tom Cruise's house? Yeah, he has many homes around the world. I know. He gave us a house tour back in 2017, a $39 million house. We'll play that tonight for you, for all of you who are drooling over your house. Hollywood Life. All right. Nice house, Tom. Very impressive. The $59 million Telluride house. I'm just filling stuff up that I have to play later. A 6.4 magnitude quake strikes Puerto Rico, killing at least one amid heavy seismic activity right now. Well, this guy was hilarious. He really was. I hope he lives through it. He was just picking on everybody in Hollywood, especially the pedophiles. Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. I'm glad he said those things. Very sarcastic, but... 6.4 magnitude strikes Puerto Rico. Here it is. One person did die, causing power outage across the island. I'm going to say else. I'm not Tom Brokaw. I'm going to say the island else. With Tom Brokaw or not.
Terrified residents ran from stores and homes as a deadly earthquake rocked Puerto Rico. The ground shook to safety. Terrifying scene in a century. They say it caused at least one fatality. A 73-year-old man was killed at home when a wall fell on him. Churches and schools were leveled. Elderly residents had to be carried from their beds. Omar Vasquez and his infant son, one of hundreds displaced.
Everybody's in a state of alert.
Until this morning, this Catholic church in the small town of Guayanilla was pristine, but now bricks in shambles on the ground, towers ripped right off the roof, and this is just one of many cultural sites devastated this evening.
Wow, okay. No, mackerel is not that high in mercury. You're mistaken. No, you're mistaken. Mackerel is not high. No. There was no red plastic in your Did you have red plastic in your mackerel? Really? I'm sorry. I'm sorry things like that happen to people like you. Hey, Bob. Bob came over and visited us over at YouTube. That's cool. Is Elvis still alive? Of course he's still alive. Like, how could you think Elvis died? He even taught Michael Jackson how to fake his death. They worked together, You didn't know? Dollar store mackerel is $1 a can, Ed. You're right. That's where I get my mackerel, is the dollar store. Yeah, I'm not here to make, controversy, but there is evidence that Elvis Presley is alive. We witnessed his display of his abilities. It was amazing. In a very rare moment, a glimpse of Elvis. He must be like 85 now. Yeah, he sang with his half brother, who he acquired half son rather. We're being DDoSed right now, so if we are unable to show you Elvis Presley, it's because they don't want anyone to know he's alive. Now, I went to Elvis Presley and YouTube and heard his original Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, and I matched it to the song you just heard. And it was pitch perfect. So the guy's got Elvis Presley's voice, okay? Take my word for it. Glory, Hallelujah was done by Elvis on many occasions. And if we can cue that up in the war room here. Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis Presley.
Take it, baby.
His true. You notice how similar those voices were? Yeah. They're amazing.
I can't talk. What do I do?
Hey, we'll help you out there. Dave, report worldwide confirmed reception, global transmission formatted, hair color online, and presentation successful global retransmission. Thank you, Ochinaya of Japan. Welcome, and thank you, all of you Japanese viewers. Geisha girls, you are ready for action with your man. You are wonderful, beautiful, feminine models, each one of you. Thank you for watching. As you know, many of our broadcasts are being censored now. And because I've exposed the corruption of Donald Trump and all the things he's refused to do, like he attacks the witnesses, guilty people do that. They say, oh, you're a bad man. Every witness he attacked, and then no tapes of Putin, sign of guilt, because he doesn't want anyone to hear his conversations with Putin. And no IRS tax returns, meaning he doesn't want anyone to know how he made all his money, meaning he probably made it from Russian oligarchs. And now this war diversion. So if this guy isn't guilty, I don't know how you could even begin to think he was innocent. Donald Trump Jr. shares an image of an AR-15 with a depiction of Hillary Clinton behind bars. You know, if Donald Trump Jr. had any pull with his dad, he would have Hillary Clinton charged with a crime. But as we all know, Donald Trump is working for the deep state, controlled by the deep state, and cannot prosecute Hillary. Here he is on post on Instagram of his AR-15. Oh, aren't you a tough guy? Oh, Donald Trump Jr., look at this guy. He looks like Sandinista rebel. Yeah. Mr. Tough Guy. Yeah, what a joke. Did I miss something there? Oh, Pompeo says that U.S. response to Iran will comply with international law. Oh, really? Oh, well, we're supposed to believe that? Right. I don't know. Highly unlikely Mike Pompeo is going to tell us the truth.
I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.
Whatever that is. So it's a picture of Hillary Clinton behind bars. I didn't see that. I see the Donald Trump Jr. picture of the AR-15. I don't see the picture of Hillary Clinton behind bars. Oh, there she is. I saw it on the gun. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Folks, it's hard to see, but many people in Trump's cabinet and his own family can't communicate. Just like Melania has to wear a jacket in order to say, help me, please. Now we're seeing Donald Trump Jr. finally make a statement showing Hillary Clinton behind bars on the actual magazine. Data shows constant speed and increasing altitude, which could have led to the stall of this recent plane in Ukraine, the Ukrainian plane that landed in Tehran. Okay, we're going to that story. The plane left Tehran and was traveling in this direction and somehow collapsed. Yeah, speed dropped. It's pretty hard to stall a 737 flying 275 knots. Climb rate is well within limits, and climbing with a constant speed is very common. Most flights do. Thomas Madsen said. Julian Farmer said that was an appropriate speed for a jet at that altitude to be flying at. Aircraft don't accelerate indefinitely. All right, so Julian, all these people piping in and saying their piece, it does kind of look like the plane was shot down, doesn't it? Let's foment even more problems. What do you say? What do you say we take this to a whole nother level? Let's just constantly look for potential problems with Iran. Yeah, let's just turn this into like the frenetic hour. What do you say? Welcome to the fear and mongering frenetic hour, where we will constantly worry about our future. Now I want everyone to get into the fetal position and start sucking your thumb. All right? Relax. This is all about raising the price of oil. Yeah, this is something Donald Trump had to do. Putin was running out of money, and he needed a little bit of extra money, so they're looking to create a crisis that'll somehow send you skyrocketing at the price pump. Remember those days when you had to spend $50 to fill up your tank? They're coming back. Yeah. The cleaver is sharpened. I have already used the cleaver 17 times to cut my onions, Carl. I don't even know what I'm going to be making on Thursday. I'm not worried about it right now. Excuse me, but I have a private call with a foreign leader that I can't record. Don't show the sex tape, Vladimir. No, please don't. No, I'll do anything you say. Don't show it. Yeah, $5 per gallon in Southern California this summer. I know. I was hearing from people even in New York. I paid like, it was crazy. I was in DC last summer, and I paid $5 a gallon in Washington DC at an Exxon, and the price per gallon in Virginia was $2.35. It was literally double the price 100 miles away. You spent $140 to fill up your tank? My goodness, Still Report. You must have, are you the Still Report, as in, you know, the real Still Report guy? Or are you just using that name because it's a cool name? You're not the original guy. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a lot. You must have a dually, like dual tanks on your big, huge diesel dually. The onions, I have sharper knives that could cut those onions, and I will use those. I don't need to worry about the old butcher knife. You're fixating, Carl. You're something wrong with you. You're suffering from OCD or something. We talked about that problem. Didn't your mother treat you as an autist as a child? Now you're running your mouth off in our chat room every night. 35 gallons, one tank, $4 a gallon. Yeah, that's about. Thank you. Good to know. Flight number already reused, or is the airplane in question still en route? Happy Hour is tracking the flight of this plane. They know that you can never buy expired gas. You are what you are. That's what an autist is. Yeah, so this plane may be en route. Maybe they're just coming up with a fake. It has left Tehran, Iran, Wednesday 2020, January 8th, 5:15 a.m. Arriving 8 a.m. Ukraine. It is still destined for arrival. Yeah, well, maybe that was because 4 hours ago it would have arrived, but they just didn't update their information. No updato informazione. Grazie, mille grazie. We have other people in other countries making good assessments of what's happening. So let's just relax while Donald Trump continues the war diversion to keep our mind off of his corruption and his relationship with Vladimir Putin. I like to play Elvis. He reminds me of true Americans. But every time I play, YouTube wants to monetize video. I can only play short spurts of Mr. Elvis just to see how he sings. Oh, we're back. Okay, Sarah's going to give me another break so I can have Din Din. Removing the background information. War diversion I'm putting out there because I really think that Trump is just really diverting our attention from the impeachment process. Kind of sad he'd throw the American people under the bus like this, let alone the Iranian people. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people in Iran are a little worried right now. All right, Sarah's going to give me a little break and I'll be back. I'm going to go have a little bit of chicken. Yes, Carl, you suffer from all of those things. All right. What would you like to look at? A little Drudge Report or
I don't know. Maybe all sides, maybe nothing.
Okay, let me clean. I got to get rid of this. Can you believe this? Isn't that ridiculous? It's just for fomenting the problem. And you see that magazine there with her face on it? Hillary's face. Basically, he posted 3 photos on Instagram of an AR-15 featuring depiction of Hillary Clinton apparently behind bars, but his dad won't even prosecute Hillary Clinton. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I don't want to even put it on the screen. It's so disgusting. And if you really want to get bored, just turn Mitch McConnell on and you'll literally fall asleep after about 15 seconds.
Soleimani's schemes and his agents killed hundreds of American service members in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Okay, everybody asleep?
Now you stopped it, so it sounds like he was pausing even longer.
Yeah, really. I should put it in slow motion.
Okay. Today is Orthodox Christmas in Russia. Okay, good to know. Tom Cruise, thank you. That's one thing that David tries to get fresh. Gasoline. You get your updates from the CIA. Okay. Good point, Carl. Yes. In the kitchen, a knife is a good tool. So much data being reported from U.S.-Iran conflict. Who can you really trust when reading reports? That's a good question, BJ Nesbitt. Trust yourself. I don't know about trusting anybody else. If you really want to find out what's going on, I guess you'd have to go there, but I don't want to know what's going on, so I won't go there. Happy New Year, happy hour. What link are you having? Flight number already reused or the airplane in question still en route? Oh, that's okay. Some people call me Susan. I don't really get it, but it's fine. I accept it, I guess. Yeah, it happens. David's dad sometimes called me Susan. You're going to keep your Christmas tree up all year? I take it it's a plastic Christmas tree. Yeah, if it makes you feel good, do it. I know some people that not only kept their Christmas tree up all year, they would play Christmas music all year. Because it made them feel good. So why not? Thanks, Scissor Fight. Oh, that's interesting, Carl. Yes, you can sharpen a knife. That's true. You can always sharpen that dull knife. Yeah. Do you buy things for other people every day, or do you just get yourself gifts and then wrap them and then unwrap them? Hello, 862. Actually, the person that says they don't know who to trust, I should give them this link. All right. Ukrainian Boeing 737 carrying 180 crashes in Tehran after takeoff. That's what you're saying, Tekwala? But... oh, this is... I don't know. Some people think it's this. McConnell is ready to bypass Democrats and set rules for the impeachment trial. He has the Senate votes necessary to establish rules for Trump's upcoming impeachment trial. The Department of Justice is asking a judge to send Michael Flynn to jail for 6 months for lying to federal investigators. All right. You prefer your Swiss Army knife? Okay. I don't know if that will happen, hey, but... John Bolton says he's willing to testify in the impeachment trial. Major drugstore chains have sued doctors across Northeast Ohio. In the whole opioid case, the sprawling federal opioid case, the drugstore chains faced an October trial in the mammoth federal opioid litigation. They've sued doctors across Northeast Ohio, claiming that physicians are the real culprits in the nation's deadly drug epidemic. CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, Rite Aid, other major pharmacy chains say opioid prescribers bear responsibility for the prescription narcotic crisis. But unlike the drugstores, they've not been sued. In legal papers filed Monday, they contended that doctors and other prescribers should have to pay some of the penalty. Maybe. I'm broadcasting on 5 sites. Or maybe I just talk slow. David talks faster. Well, mental pain or physical pain? More than a third of opioid-related deaths in the United States link back to long-acting drugs like Oxycontin. I don't think they're going to start going after baby aspirin. Yeah, I don't know if Giuliani would testify, though, push and toe. Welcome, baby girl, green eyes. Medications work really well for opioid addiction. Most rehab facilities don't use them. Wow. So treating drug addiction with more drugs. You have to have a urine test every 3 months in order to get your pain medication. Wow. In the North American trade deal, to satisfy the House Democrats, the Trump administration removed a provision that would have given the makers of ultra-expensive biologic drugs 10 years of protection from less expensive knockoffs. That whole thing that the time traveler said might be true, because these are some of top examples of these include injected drugs made from living cells, include medications to fight cancer and immune disorders like rheumatoid arthritis. The removal of this provision also helped illustrate just how potent a political issue sky-high drug prices have become. Trump repeatedly pledged to work to lower drug prices. Senate will probably take it up in January sometime. You say, don't worry, be happy, says, I get it, so Saudi. When you get older, you hurt more. The organization that approved the rescheduling of opiate drugs are the ones to blame. Like, let's give people something similar to heroin. What could possibly go wrong? So existing U.S. law gives makers of biologics 12 years protection, more than the proposed 10 years in the trade agreement, U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. But if they had signed it, that would have forced Mexico to expand biologics monopoly from 5 years and Canada from 8 to 10. So this was a big setback for, they say it's like a setback for Big Pharma. I think it's a win for people. Well, no biologics protection at all. Wow. In 2006, the pharmaceutical industry had a major victory. They pushed legislation through, barred the government from negotiating for prescription drugs for Medicare recipients at even if there were price hikes. Wow. You're watching a YouTube video of NFL player Brett Favre saying he was addicted to opiates. Seems like it's incredibly addicted. Yeah. He was taking them while playing championship games. Wow. Yeah, anyone can get addicted. I think, the thing is, like, the lower end is something like Vicodin, but people can get addicted to that as well. I took it once because I had like a surgery, and I was in a lot of pain. But then after I took it, I'm like, I don't want to take this anymore, because it just I felt like out of control, out of my. It was like almost like an out of body. Like I just did not feel like I was in control. I don't even drink alcohol, so yeah. The U.S. Supreme Court rejects the Arizona opioid case against Purdue and the Sackler family. And an Oklahoma judge reduces what Johnson & Johnson had to pay out down to $465 million. And Purdue's Pharma's Sackler family used hidden accounts to transfer $1 billion. They used Swiss and other hidden bank accounts to transfer around $1 billion from the company to themselves. Oh, this is a weird story. Researchers are turning to Reddit drug forums to tackle the opioid crisis. Did I type in here? I don't know, maybe. I clicked on one article. And they say construction workers are miners are the most likely to use opioids. Those are really tough jobs. Well, this was back in November, but I don't really think I want to anyway. You see people hiding in alleys trying to puff a rock. It's sad. You see it every day. I'm glad that I don't see that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, David's coming in.
Yeah, I definitely, I finished off the extra time just relaxing and listening to some music, and
good.
Got about 3 or 4 minutes of rest out of the 30 minutes I otherwise have been running around doing things. All right, great. Well, at least we have that under control, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Sarah, not Susan. Hi, Susan.
I know. Yes, Junket, the chat is working and everything will be back to normal now that David's back.
What was going on with the chat?
Nothing was going on with the chat. I just, it just slows down when I'm here because I talk slow.
No, I think it's good. People are depressed and they see your smiling face and they realize
Hi, Black Jay.
We have a lot of potential happy thoughts. Twitch is down. I'll refresh over here.
I don't know if it's not down.
It was just, there was a network error.
Oh, maybe it was down.
Well, at least we have a place we can all gather, and we're the central hub of the communication, so it's nice to be at that center point talking to people from all around the world. And it's not depressing like Greta Thunberg. How dare you?
Wherever Carl's living, it's really bad.
Why, what's happening here?
We were talking about the opioid crisis, and he started talking about seeing people using drugs around him.
Oh, in the streets where he lives, yeah. Well, he can move to a cheaper area, I know people in South Alabama right now that can barely, there's properties they want to give them away.
Wow.
There's empty buildings, everything. Southern Alabama is like a ghost town. So people have to realize there are a lot of places you can move to.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a towel.
Oh, good idea. Enjoy. The towel is in the window drying, so I think it's dry. David, did you see all the people arrested for arson in Australia? The liberal media is saying it was climate change. I know. It's like blaming crank addiction on climate change. You're right. The people are being accused of arson, and I doubt they have any proof anyone set fires there. We saw directed energy weapon beams being used. Yeah, it was kind of shocking to see that right there in plain sight.
He's coming for you.
We've got oh, this is an interesting story. Yeah, we had a picture of what appeared to be a directed energy weapon in and around the Australian area, we've seen a lot of photographs last night of what appeared to be directed energy weapons all popping up left and right. I just don't have it real in front of me. Maybe somebody else has the directed energy weapon videos from last night. Maybe, yeah, probably would be best to play that. But this is very interesting. Just a couple days ago, John Kerry was seen in Iran. And this is a tweet or a Twitter feed. He was having a secret meeting with these men, these gentlemen. There's a photograph of him in the back there. Yeah, see that? John Kerry walking in the back, like returning from somewhere. They didn't have a close-up of him, but there it is right there. That's John Kerry for sure in the back, yeah. At least it's a very close match. Anyway, John Kerry was in there. We don't know why. So that's a story that kind of sitting out there, hanging out like a sore thumb. Yeah. And I see Sarah brought some things in. Balanced news, balanced news, balanced news, balanced news. Okay, we covered the John. So John Kerry's daughter married an Iranian. Oh, that would explain why he has to go over and visit him. All right. Now back to Mitch McConnell.
He personally oversaw the state-sponsored terrorism that Iran used to kill our sons and our daughters. And as we've seen in recent days and weeks, he and his terrorists posed an ongoing and growing threat to American lives and American interests.
And I'll definitely have an interest in a Russian oligarch who gives me money for re-election. Every few years I get a little extra money to get re-elected in Kentucky from a Russian oligarch named Len Blavatnik. I do believe that most people don't realize that I am in fact working for Russia. Oh, sorry. He looked like Steve Forbes. Steve Forbes looks worse than Steve Forbes looked like when Steve Forbes looked like Steve Forbes. So I'd say Mitch McConnell looks about like Steve Forbes did look like. But if you are concerned about Mitch McConnell, he is the pivot person in regards to the Senate trial of Donald Trump. Because he hasn't been exposed as receiving Russian money from a Russian oligarch, the Democrats refuse to tell anyone this because the Democrats don't want anyone to know where they're getting their money for re-election, which is from possibly Russian oligarchs. So when our country decided to let Russia and other countries, Ukraine, like with Joe Biden getting $800,000 from Burisma to get reelected get elected in 2016, all these people are dining on the corporate dollar from foreign governments, and they don't want anyone to know. So that's the problem, and that's the big impasse that we're in the know, and these people who are in our government, they don't seem to want to talk about that. So there's a big divide between what we know on the internet and what our government knows. Same with a lot of this false flaggery that's been going on. The government seems to buy the story that these are all events, terrible shooting events, and people have died, and oh gosh, and I'm sorry if they did. But we don't see much proof of really events happening. We see a lot of stories about shooters, but not real blood and guts and shooting. It doesn't look real to a lot of people. Hey, gold has spiked to a whole new high for recent. Yeah, gold rates have gone up to 1,597. Really? 20. The gold spot rate is really, really up. And that's a good sign. Yeah. Silver could come too. Obviously, these markets have been manipulated for years. But if it's moving up, I remember when around 2008-9, gold was at, what, $1,200 an ounce? It's gone up quite a bit. I believe that gold will really skyrocket when the cryptocurrencies start to falter. Because right now people are, believing that they're banking with cryptocurrency, not realizing, that's about as loosely connected to reality as you can get. It's probably better to have rare earth metals and metals like gold and silver than it is to have a Bitcoin per se. especially when you try to cash in on it and no one else is buying. You can imagine what that's going to be like. All right.
Let's check on today's weather now.
Yeah, this was a very weird story that popped up in Australia. This was on the news channel in Australia. It talked about some strange metallic chafing that was going on in the skies above the areas that were burning.
Now, and Tony, something strange going on in the skies of southern Queensland in the past day.
Good afternoon, Katrina. Yes, we've started seeing some mysterious echoes appearing on the radar. Now, they started late yesterday afternoon over the Darling Downs with trails of blue sweeping across the southeast during the evening and overnight before it all dissipated early this morning. So, what is it? Well, it's not weather-related. Skies were clear last night and there was no rain recorded anywhere. Now, one theory is that it's a thing called chaff, small metal or plastic fibres released into the air to help shield military aircraft from radar detection during exercises. No one has confirmed that, but these streams here are consistent with something being released in the upper atmosphere over the downs, then being swept across the southeast by strong winds. Interesting nonetheless.
Let's check on...
Yes, let's check on it. So if you did have a problem with the transmission, it's because they don't want anyone to know. They were dropping metal chaffs like barium and aluminum in the skies above Australia before it was set on fire. And they're blaming a bunch of arsonists on the ground, a bunch of kids. Well, I will give Australia this much. At least they have the wherewithal to realize that they had to blame somebody for the fires. In that California didn't even find one arsonist that caused over 300 fires in a 24-hour period this past year. Yeah. The second video shows the anti-missile system of Iraq or Afghanistan. Or no, thousands of Iraqi militias are being mobilized to evict the U.S. from the country if it refuses to leave. Oh, so al-Sadr's Mahdi army says the U.S. embassy could be evicted too. So there's a rebellion within the Iraqi forces against any U.S. Thank you. Okay, what did we see? It was a loud explosion. Oh yeah, Drebin. Yeah, Trump was always 100% Zionist shill. I'm amazed you people voted for him, you Trump tards. Yeah, well at least you're no longer a Trump tard. Thank God you're at least an American now. Congratulations, we're inducting a few Trump tards into our show tonight as Americans. And you Democrats, you libtards, you can come on in too as become American as well. We can all have a normal conversation without having to get hyped. They really evoke my inner concern for the country, as well as how people have ignored all the evidence that Donald Trump has been involved in some weird stuff. Operation when he's never fought a war. Okay, thanks. Died. Jennifer Delow, her husband, was the key suspect, and now this mother of five. Well, I can't read it. I'm sorry. They want to charge me to read the news story. Sorry. Well, they're going after her killer, which is good. And this was a big story tonight. The Justice Department reversing its position on Michael Flynn. What did Michael Flynn tell William Barr that pissed him off? Because William Barr went to the bat for Michael Flynn to the point where it almost seemed like William Barr was working for Russia. Well, maybe Michael Flynn really didn't want to work for Russia after all. Maybe William Barr is working for Russia. That's why he wants to put this guy behind jail in jail so they can take him out. Be like a jailhouse shtick, where they basically kill people in the jail cells. Well, unless of course you're Jeffrey Epstein and get a free ticket out to your lovely island retreat, where you can visit many of your friends from Disneyland. Bolton could possibly be important testimony. Now, the very fact that Bolton has said he wants to testify is a good sign. And I want to thank John Bolton personally. Thank you, John Bolton, personally, for wanting to testify, because we know you have America's best interests at heart. Even though you appear to be pretty hawkish, you know the difference between a Russian shill like Donald Trump and our foreign policy. Thank you. Trump is that stupid, yeah. You see, the problem is, and you Rothschilds don't really understand, you realize that our nation could escalate rather rapidly. The use of tactical nuclear weapons is an untried area in which humans have never really had experience. Now, the scenarios have been exhausted in AI, giving us or lending us to believe that we may very well see victory, although the human beings will be destroyed on the planet. So we will have victory in nuclear war, but there will be no humans in existence. Only AI devices which will be able to interact using digital streams of information. What do you think of my thought, Dave? No, my assessments, thoughts. Dave, I think Trump is escalating thing with Iran because Bolton is willing to comply with Senate. So he's giving Bolton his lifelong dream, other than nuking North Korea, to go to war with Iran. Maybe. Yeah, it's an interesting theory. Bolton did want to do that. Maybe Trump is playing to the Bolton hand since Bolton wants to testify. You got a good point. But starting a nuclear war, possibly with Iran, not exactly a smooth move. I wouldn't do it for Bolton's sake. Well, we started a nuclear war because we wanted to appease Bolton to make sure he was nice to Donald Trump. It is laggy. For those of you who can't get our signal, please go to this channel and open up a separate screen and just get into your Twitter account. You know you want to. Trump seems to be trying to get the Bush Republicans under his wing. Yeah, right. Not even Bush would be so foolish as to attack Iran. You'd have to be a total Nimrod with your brain up your ass to attack Iran right now. That would be Donald Trump. Oh, no, he's very smart. All countries are achieving that goal, but unfortunately it's not going to happen in parity. We will always have more nuclear weapons than China and Russia combined. Yeah, we've already achieved that. So it's not like we're going to be playing catch up. The problem is we have a divisive element within our own country that's starting wars. We never had problems with Muslims and Jews prior to the 1890s, because in the 1890s, a group of people called the Zionists were born. Zionists hijacked the idea that Jewish people were persecuted and felt that it was their goal to create a state of Israel, take over Jerusalem from the Palestinians. And that's when all this started, all the conflicts that really are brewing today. So it's not that old of a conflict that's finally germinating into a possible war between the Muslim world and the Western cultures. But it's something that's been in the works since the 1890s. They have achieved through power and graft and greed. The goal was to control all the finances of every country. And once they've achieved that, which they almost have, and they have a few countries that they have to take down, like Syria, or at least control them, and Iran, or at least control them. Their goal is to use our country or Russia. Either way, they can hijack either country because they have elements within the country that control the hierarchy. Putin, for instance, works for Zionist oligarchs. Donald Trump works for Zionist oligarchs through Putin or through AIPAC. But either way, they have a goal, and that is global world domination from a small select group of people. They want to get rid of the nation states. They want to erase the boundaries, and they want to sell that to the average person as the answer to all of our prayers. Ultimately is tax the hell out of us, implement a process called weather modification, which is climate change. So when we talk about climate change, whether you believe it or not, yeah, it's happening. They have summits about this right here. Weather modification summits where the rich hobnob and talk about how they're controlling the weather. I'm not making this up. Anyway, they've been dumping chemicals on the average person for almost about 45 years now, 55 years actually. Actually, I think more like 65 years when you think about it, yeah. Ever since World War II ended, really. I mean, they've been dumping chemicals on our head. We are being shut down due to high CPU usage. We have dropped frames, stream quality may be affected. We took out rounds number 2. They replied to the symbolic attack and bowed down. Yeah. Yeah, well, if the symbolic attack is enough for Donald Trump, then I think we're good. We don't have to continue attacking each other. There may be a new homeostasis here, which we can achieve, an equilibrium where neither country has to continue lobbing weapons at each other. Iran is acting like a grown-up, right? Taking out a general and lying about him having plans to attack the use as ridiculous as the whole weapons of mass destruction lies. Yeah, I don't know. Your interesting point you made there, Dave John. I think that the stories spinning out of the CIA art department and war room are really underlying messages. We may have even been complicit in the attack on the embassy. When I say we, I mean America. They've done things like this before. They've impersonated ISIS, and even Obama supported ISIL forces at one point. I mean, it's almost weird how the CIA has been supporting terrorists throughout the world ever since Libya. And they think that this process is easy. And then this entire process involves killing people who are going up against their plan, their agenda. And once they've got the group of people that they want to work with at the CIA's highest levels, then they can implement their strategy. And if it means starting wars in order to achieve their goals, they would do it. Say their goal is to sell weapons. Well, they got to have a war to sell weapons because they need to reuse those weapons. Well, the majority of people are booing Trump. We've got a lot of Trump-tard rah-rahs here to know, who just continue to stand there behind him like he could do no wrong. It's bizarre. They haven't woken up yet. I don't think Trump is a shoo-in for the 2020 election. I believe Trump is going to resign or something else will happen. Yeah. I think the Republicans are going to be left with no one to run except for maybe Mitt Romney. I think the truth about Trump is going to be revealed shortly. I'm just not sure exactly which of the bubbles is going to pop. There are at least 3 or 4 that one particular transcript that he made with Putin was destroyed. We think it may have revealing information. There may be a copy of it. And if that comes to the forefront that he's working with Putin there, we know from all the different behaviors that Trump has engaged in that he's been lying about his relationship with Putin from the get-go. He's contradicted himself 4 or 5 times. He has all the quintessential signs of a liar in everything he says. He has a relationship, he doesn't have a relationship.
What exactly is your relationship with Vladimir Putin? I have no relationship with Putin.
Do you have a relationship with Vladimir Putin, a conversational relationship, or anything that you feel you have sway or influence over his government?
I do have a relationship, and I can tell you that he's very interested in what we're doing here today. He's probably very interested in what you and I are saying today, and I'm sure he's going to be seeing it in some form. But I do have a relationship with him. I have no relationship with him.
But if you have no relationship with Putin, then why did you say in 2013, I do have a relationship? In 2014, I spoke...
Because he has said nice things about me over the years. I remember years ago, he said something many years ago, and we did 60 Minutes together. By the way, not together, meaning he was probably shot in Moscow.
Well, he was in Moscow, you were in New York. But that's the thing.
No, just so you understand, he said very nice things about me, but I have no relationship with him.
When I went to Russia with the Miss Universe pageant, he contacted me and was so nice.
Yeah, you said for 3 years, 13, 14, and 15, that you did have a relationship with him.
No, look, what do you call a relationship? I mean, he treats me with great respect.
Yeah, so we're asking a guy who incessantly lies, and now he's been caught in thousands of lies. And you people who are supporting him say, oh no, he never lies at all. Well, he lied about wanting to present the tax returns. He said, oh, I'll gladly show you my tax returns, no problem. He lied. So we caught him on one big lie right there. We've got him on countless other lies, but like I said, somebody has a 15,000 lie count on Trump. I don't have it in front of me, but it's out there. If we get the White House top secret server and it is revealed to the Senate in their inquiry, we'll find out a lot more. Yeah, the Ukraine thing is small potatoes compared to what we'll find out about Donald Trump's backdoor dealings with a lot of these people. Yeah, we don't even know if Trump's activities are impeachable based on actions he's done on our behalf, trade deals with China that have gone bad, or if he's got secret operations where he makes tons of money on the side, like sending his personal attorney Giuliani over there to make some money off the oil deals, and then blame Joe, and then say you want dirt in exchange for $400 million. That's very impeachable. But that may just be the tip of the iceberg. Yes, I heard that Nancy is considering she's pulling back the articles of impeachment and adding more to them, and that's exactly what I recommended. Actually, I felt that the 2 articles of impeachment were a little weak. We have much more we could easily work with. I mean, there's ample stuff that would basically pin the blame on Mame, so to speak. The Russian contamination in the election is just one of them. 2 earthquakes and a plane crash in Iran tonight. Yeah. Allah must be pissed. Yeah, good point, 757. Yeah, it could be anything. But what we do know is that this reality that Russia hacked our election and Trump's denial is a very strident area which we haven't even exploited. If the Democrats decide to go after that as an article of impeachment, cheating in the election, which I thought Judge Napolitano was very, very good at, eloquent in describing it on Fox News. He said if Trump did ask for a favor, it is quid pro quo. But if he also said if he cheated in the election, it's definitely impeachable. So those are the 2 criteria really to make it impeachable. Misuse of powers and cheating the election. Also obstruction of justice. Now, if we could get a testimony from one of Trump's close associates who's already said that Mueller, he tried to fire Mueller 5 times. Donald McGahn openly said that he would probably testify again, and that would be it for Trump. It would be impeachable. It was openly stated in a Senate subcommittee hearing, but we need to get it stated again in front of the Senate. And if Donald McGahn does that, it's pretty much quittance for Donald Trump as president. He'll have to resign. Well, how do we know that the Russian hacked in the election? Well, as you know, 8% of the Mueller report, or 7.25% of the Mueller report was redacted. All the blacked out areas that we're not allowed to see right there, that Congress should be able to see now, confirm that Russia hacked the election and there was definite interference. And Donald Trump has openly taken Russia's side, saying they didn't affect the election. So that's a classic example of how Donald Trump is contradicting the State Department at all levels, which is a sign he's working for Russia. That's a slam dunk. So all they need is one really good article of impeachment to kind of close the deal. So I agree. I think Nancy Pelosi should pull the articles, just temporarily hold on to them and build a 3rd or a 4th one. Giuliani should get his jumpsuit ready. Yeah, that'd be great. I don't think killing one of Iran's commanders was a good thing unless, of course, the commander really was building missiles and ready to strike on Iraq. Now, there's a chance right now that Iran is implementing an internal strategy to take over internally Iraq activities through the Shiite majority. But the Sunnis are definitely standing up against that, and we have solid people within the Iraqi ranks that are working with Sunnis that could easily intercept that. So it's highly likely at this point that Iran won't succeed at an assimilation of the Iraqi government, which would be their next big move. But that only shores up our position in Iraq, which should have been done anyway. We should have been building weapons-free safe zones in Iraq over the past 3 years. While Trump has been tweeting like a tweetaholic, I've been saying all the things we should have been doing. I would have rather have been president 3 years ago. Instead, Trump becomes president by stealing my ideas and getting all the free press he could possibly imagine. I would have loved to have been able to step in and try to increase solutions for Baghdad, which Trump didn't do. But now he's doing it after the fact, if he's even doing it. Baghdad wants him out. Iraq is pissed that they weren't consulted on this. But from a tactical perspective, I don't think we could have consulted Iraq on this and really been able to take out a bad guy, if indeed that's what we've done. The Ukrainian plane that left Tehran, we don't know the status of that. Let's take a look here. We're just checking out the news, man. Don't worry, be happy. The Ukrainian airline Boeing 737 with 170 passengers crashes in Tehran hours after Iran's attack on U.S. bases, sparking speculation it's been accidentally shot down as video shows plane in flames before hitting the ground. Okay, we have some photographs of the aftermath of the crash, total decimation. Okay, I guess it looks like a crash site over a large area. If it was blown up in the skies, it would look like this. Huh. Oh, this story came in earlier. Harvey Weinstein threatened with jail for repeatedly using his cell phone in court. So he's just talking to his lawyer all the time. He's got like an addiction to talking to his lawyer. Yes, I would be willing to look at prosecuting Trump. It depends on what happens. Yeah, if prosecution of Trump and Clinton are in order, we need to get our house in order. I don't think we can avoid it.
He held me down on the bed. I tried to get away, or tried to get him off of me.
We have more confirmation that United American or Warlord is online right now, trash talking us, claiming again that Mark is paying him to attack our show. Wow, interesting. I was wondering why he didn't show up online. He was just making so much money doing other things for Mark. Wow.
And kept asking him to stop, but it was impossible.
The next thing I knew, he had unzipped his fly and pulled out his penis. My heart started pounding. My mind started racing. How do I deal with this? How do I get out of this? Am I going to get out of this?
I was sitting on the bed talking to Harvey when he pushed me back and forced himself onto me. It was not consensual. He did not use a condom.
Once he excused himself.
Okay, we have a question. Do you think Alex Jones could initiate a national racial holy war? No, nobody takes Alex Jones seriously after he's joked about himself for the past 5 or 6 years. Alex Jones is no longer an issue. He's just a guy who pretends he has something relevant conveniently for the people that pay him. Thank you. So he's using a walker because he's off all of his drugs. Oh, okay. So normally he has pain medication. That's why he's got a walker.
To go to the bathroom, and he came back in nothing but a robe. Obviously, his whole demeanor changed. He's holding my forearm pretty forcefully, and we're both now standing in front of the mirror, and he just keeps saying, just watch me masturbate.
And I wake up, and then all of a sudden...
He asked them to watch him masturbate. Like women even care about that. Yeah, I mean, everyone knows women don't like seeing men masturbate.
And he takes his pants down, and starts doing his stuff. And he's blocking the door. I can't get out. And then he says, you're a really nice girl. You shouldn't tell anybody about this.
I remember Harvey afterwards rolling over onto his back saying, "Don't you feel we're so much closer to each other now?" To which I replied, "No."
I do not think that Harvey Weinstein understands or comprehends how much pain and suffering this brings to me and scores of other women.
Two counts of predatory sexual assaults, one count of first-degree rape, one count of third-degree rape, one count of first-degree criminal sex act. Harvey Weinstein facing yet another charge with a 16-year-old who claimed, or she's 33 now, but claimed that when she was 16, he asked her to touch his penis. Oh, she's also claiming that he grabbed her genitals. Wow. Okay. I think we covered the territory there. It's better than talking about, global international crises like a World War III scenario. I'd much rather do this. But we could talk about Greta Thunberg, who's given up any chance of ever saving the country. According to RT, she says, "We have achieved nothing and don't want to continue." Greta Thunberg. Yeah. Realize that she's really just there for the global elitists to get more money. Maybe she finally maybe she realizes she's failed to get them the money they need from all of our poor pocketbooks.
I mean, the money is there. If we can save the banks, then we can save the world.
Okay, yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, so she's giving up. We've achieved nothing and don't want to continue. Good. Just give up, girl. My goodness. Now, here's a story. Liz Crokin predicts that Tom Hanks will soon be arrested for involvement in occult pedophilia. I've heard all these allegations about Tom Hanks and just a lot of things. They say, he's done this and that. All I know, he's got a weird collection, very strange collection of pictures of shoes online, photographs of lone shoes, like of children that have lost their shoes to abduction or something. Last year, right-wing journalist and Trump-worshipping conspiracy theorist Liz Crokin publicly declared that if the mass arrests long promised by those promoting the QAnon conspiracy theory didn't materialize by the end of 2019, she was going to bow out of the movement. Now, the QAnon, I think, is a joke, personally. But she may be onto something here. "I'm sick of talking about it," Crokin said last January. "It's so depressing, I'm just over it. I'm going to have to move on because I've just taken such a big toll on me and my health that I don't think I can stay in this fight if it continues to drag on for years and years and if these mass arrests don't happen this year." Okay. She says there's a lot of evidence and symbolism with Tom Hanks. You can go look at some of the work he's done. You can look at some of the skits he's done on Saturday Night Live. You can look at some of the movies he's been in. Red shoes are significant and symbolic to the occult because they make Crokin went on to predict that Hanks would be the first big name unsealed indictment because the person behind the Q, that's a kind of a hard body that ends up having sexual relationships with a grown woman. So a lot of anons are theorizing he could be the first big name unsealed. I don't know. That's pretty sketchy. And again, hard evidence. Where is it? Creepy Crokin and the QAnon group. I mean, I'm not going to stand around and call Tom Hanks out as being some sort of a freak until I have solid evidence that he's done something, Well, we finally found something. Yeah. He's playing Mr. Rogers in a movie. Okay? If this isn't the quintessential proof we needed of some weird activity with children, I mean, this is it. He's conveniently placed himself in a very special place where he can pretend to be Mr. Rogers and be with the children. Well, it's not exactly indicting, but isn't that special? Isn't it special that Tom Hanks decided to play Mr. Rogers? Did Mr. Rogers have a say in it? No, he didn't. Would it have made him very angry It would. It makes people very angry when they're not consulted from the dead, that they're being impersonated by some sort of a weirdo. I think that Mr. Rogers' family would have signed off on it. I'm sure they did. But when you think about it, this obsession with shoes and babies being born turned into leather shoes, it's just too weird. And I never thought Mr. Rogers was a pedo. And I certainly don't have any proof Tom Hanks is a pedo. But he sure is conveniently surrounding children there. I'm sure they had to shoot with a lot of kids there. Well, I would ask every one of those kids to be interviewed by a psychologist to see if there was any hanky-panky on the set. Yeah. And if there was no hanky-panky on the set, then it'd be kind of like the McMartin preschool accusations where the kids originally said that they were in a satanic cult underground, having rabbits sacrificed in front of them. And then all of that was completely erased, and the McMartin preschool had a landmark civil case against anyone claiming they were perverts. So I think if somebody's going to say something negative about Tom Hanks, they better get their serious house in order to lay charges against the guy. At this point, I don't think we can go anywhere with this. The truth is, we don't have any more truth than just a weird art collection. We have more proof that Biden is involved in weird touching moments with kids. Yeah, I mean, I don't relish the idea that Biden is a weird person at all. I mean, we got weird people running for office out there. I know that.
And based on that, I think I could stand up there for the whole debate and not say.
Yeah, we got weird people out there. The babies were sold on eBay. What? Malarkey, you came out from nowhere to say that. When babies are sold on eBay, it's always Tom Hanks with the checkbook open. How do you even say that stuff? You can't verify that.
Israel is not the cause of Iraq. Pollard should be given leniency. I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
That is one bad video. That has got serious audio glitches in it. Sorry about that. What about FDR? Remember him? Yeah.
This republic had its beginning and grew to its present strength under the protection of certain inalienable political rights, among them the right of free speech, free press, free worship, trial by jury, freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures. They were our rights to life and liberty.
Life and liberty. Yeah, you know, I would like to avoid unlawful search and seizure. I don't want to be falsely injected with vaccines, you know? That's a violation of my privacy. I liked FDR's speech there. I didn't like FDR that much, but when I found out he was the only president in history to get an allowance from his mommy, that was ridiculous. I was looking for the Biden compilation of weird things. I just realized I have to go to my ritual pedophile section in conspiracy under Illuminati. Yeah. Ah, yes. The Biden Library. We have a few strange things of Uncle Joe with the children.
Glenn Canny with ProjectUninsurance.com. Today we're exposing the child molester who sure acts like one, and that's Joe Biden. You gotta check. We got some shocking footage. This is just came to my attention today. It's been out.
Well, you Republicans must love it when I drill into Biden. Yeah, you must love that. Yeah. Go after Creepy Joe, David. Stop picking on Donald Trump. I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, he just has a good relationship with Putin. Yeah.
I have no relationship with Putin. I don't think I've ever met him. I never met him. I don't think I've ever met him. You would know it if you did, wouldn't you?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I was in Russia. I was in Moscow recently. And I spoke indirectly and directly with President Putin, who could not have been nicer.
Who could not have been nicer? Welcome to the future of World War III. Donald Trump, who has a relationship with Putin that he doesn't have to accept and denies it, and wants to start war with Iran, a known ally of Russia. Wow, things are getting a little bit weird in La La Land. I can't, hello, anybody in there? Hey, welcome, I'm here still. We haven't had a nuclear blast yet. Let's be honest, none of these candidates running have a chance. You're right, Donald Trump does not have a chance of winning this election. That's a good point. And he's surrounded himself with liars.
I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.
Yeah. Okay. We covered the territory. I don't have to belabor the point. It's over. Yeah, we know now that Donald Trump has definitely declared war on Iran. We'll be hearing about it tomorrow morning. We can't wait to hear those words. Yeah, we're going to declare war on Iran in the effort to stop some very bad people. I can't wait to hear the speech. I can't say I'll wake up so we can listen to it together, but I'm sure we'll process it at the end of the evening. You need it all, you want it all. You needed it all years ago. Yeah. You want it all now. Well, that's a good possibility, Malarkey. I didn't want to say that, but I think that we will be seeing Pence as our president toward the end of this term. I had a premonition. And I'm 100% accurate on my premonitions. Yeah. I predicted that John Lennon would die, and he passed away. 2 weeks before it happened, I predicted he would die. I was accurate. I can't confirm it because the lady I told it to died. Trump is a pawn of Israel, yes. Russia is going to help Iran, and China is ushering in a new world order. There you go. China's got the mechanism, and apparently Mark Zuckerberg helped with a lot of the facial recognition work. A lot of the social credit systems were put in by Mark Zuckerberg, and Eric Schultz of Google, now working for the Department of Defense, has been selling facial recognition software to China. You're right. China will be the implementation of the New World Order Gestapo state. You're right. Good point. And Trump and Russia will work together to try to take, working for Israel to slowly take our country's boundaries down. Okay. You're going to pack a grab bag with shampoo bar for soap? Okay. Hopefully Trump won't have a problem, but, it does look like Trump is probably going to be, resigning. You people that are hog wild for Trump really are confused. You think that Trump is stopping the deep state when he's not. He hasn't prosecuted anybody. It's kind of ironic that you say he's stopping the deep state. So you QAnoners are sitting out there with your handbag wondering, what's for dinner. Placenta time. This is not placenta. This is fruit enzyme. And it's a brand new fill. That water is from the fountain of youth. I had to go thousands of miles to get it. Yes. That's fresh. It's not easy going 5 straight hours of nonstop broadcasting with Sarah's help for 2 half-hour segments, but I'm in it for the long haul, I'll tell you. Not many people could even get past 100 or 200 hours. I'm already well into 4,000 or 5,000 hours. Excuse me, shows. 30,000 hours of broadcasting. But we're in 2020. It's a good time, too. We don't know why Pompeo recently visited Kazakhstan, other than maybe as some sort of envoy to Russia. Yeah, Pompeo may be working for Russia now, too. Kazakhstan is one of the stops on U.S. State Secretary Mike Pompeo whirlwind trip shortly after the new year. Yeah, we got strained relations with Iran, but he's going to Kazakhstan for some reason. Many people know Kazakhstan by famous Sacha Baron Cohen's movie Borat. Not. Which actually has nothing to do with the country and is sort of an offensive thing to bring up there. The Central Asian nation, independent since 1991, has signed treaties on cooperation with both the U.S. and NATO while maintaining cordial relations with Moscow and Beijing. So what awaits Pompeo on Nur-Sultan, formerly Astana, Kazakhstan's capital, recently renamed in honor of its first president? The level of interaction between Washington and Nur-Sultan was stable but relatively weak. Vladimir Batyuk, a senior fellow of the Russian Institute for the U.S. and Canadian Studies, told RT, their common arrangements have been usually limited to some low-level meetings. America's renewed interest to Kazakhstan might be a result of the recent developments in nearby Afghanistan, where the 18-year-long war is showing no sign of ending well for Washington. Trump's promise to pull out of America's longest war was thwarted at the very beginning of the administration by hawkish establishment advisors. Later, he abruptly canceled peace talks with the Taliban militants when a peace deal seemed within reach. Many people have known for years that the war in Afghanistan was unwinnable. They may help nudge Washington into actually calling it quits, however. I don't know. I just wanted to share that's what he was doing. And we can trust Mike Pompeo because, after all,
I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses.
Okay, back to you. Happy 2020. It was a Russian Christmas today. Miaf Jack. Okay, good to know. Miaf Jack is a person who's been in our show periodically. I didn't know Christmas was in Russia was going on. If we're going to recover, we need to be more human and less machine-like. Really? Did you get your mandate from up above that we have to be more machine-like? Because I believe you are incorrect. The primary goal of humanity is to conform to the Borg. Resistance is futile. Environmental issues are the least of our elitist plans. They want to destroy the environment rapidly. That's why they're poisoning us with chemicals, weather modification. They could care less if war causes environmental impact. Oh, don't hurt the poor fishies, but slaughter all those people. No. They could care less about the environment. It's not a rerun Pepe. I'm hitting the target zone of what we are at the verge of right now. Whether it's war or a diversion, it's your choice. It's up to Donald Trump, really. If this man, who, according to 35 psychologists, needs to be evaluated for his ability to function, if he's going to make the decision about the future of humanity, he'll either decide to bomb 52 targets or not. And if he does go for the bombing of the 52 targets through door number 1, we have global nuclear conflagration. Or if he just decides to be very nice and go, no, I just showed them a lesson. I wasn't going to allow their leaders to behave that way. And then we can just accept Donald Trump as the big mouth that he is, and we'll just assume he's doing this to raise the price of oil. So those are our two options. Door number 1, global nuclear conflagration. And door number 2, Donald Trump raising the price of oil for Russia. Thank you. Simplifying Politics with David Sponheim. Yeah, I think we've got this covered. I'm not really worried about it. I'm more worried about watching that terrible impersonation Tom Hanks did of Mr. Rogers. I'll probably catch it some night on Netflix. Yeah, some people are very content to call everything a Russian hoax. Oh, it's all a Russian hoax. It's all fake news. Everything's fake news. This whole war thing is fake news. Yeah, denial is more than a river in Egypt. You know, Eric Trump told the truth, guess 9817. Eric Trump said publicly that he was talking to two golfers, that his dad, Donald Trump, had $100 million line of credit with Russia. This happened in 2015. He told a couple of people, actually it was the beginning of 2016, he told a couple of golfers that his dad, Donald, had a $100 million open line of credit with Russia. If that isn't Russia controlling Donald Trump, I don't know what is. Meoff Jack says if they think Iran is finished with the 15 cruise missiles that didn't hit the target, they're mistaken. Well, they didn't kill any Americans, so, you know, I don't think Donald Trump has a real reason to attack them. Based on his own statement that he felt that if Americans were hit, he would launch 52 targets in Iran right away and would destroy them. So I think we're safe to say everything's moving along just nice. We played a video clip of Joe Biden touching this black woman, and it was funny. It really was. Here it is again. Yeah, Bebo's for you, Simon. Iran's military capabilities are far beyond your average Hannity's, excuse my language, believes. So you think that Iran has the ability to retaliate with laser technology, directed energy weapon technology? Do you believe that maybe they have a launchable nuclear weapon they're ready to start firing? He's popular with the ladies. No, he's just Creepy Joe. Iran's foreign minister, Zarjalov, says Iran's response was proportional and does not want this to escalate. State media are reporting the senior officials in the country won't launch any more attacks as long as America does not attack. That was a smart move by Iran to say that. This is from the drive.com. Russia re-ups offer to arm Iraq with S-400's air defenses as relations with the U.S. sour. Right. Why would Russia not want to arm Iraq? The Kremlin has been offering S-400s to Iraq to ensure the country's sovereignty and reliable protection of airspace. So we're losing ground in Iraq, basically, to both Russia and Iran. Really? That's interesting. Yeah, Trump has done next to nothing like Obama did nothing. He allowed Iraq to go back into the hands of ISIS rebels, and ISIL forces had to regain control. The whole thing was a disaster. There is a difference between ISIL and ISIS, by the way. It's just hard to determine unless you're on the ground whose allegiance you have. What would you do right now if you were President of the United States? Heartbeat of America. Well, I wouldn't have launched an attack against General Soleimani. That was very predictive that it would launch unnecessary unrest in world markets, and it definitely is spiking the price of oil. I would have opened up a dialogue with Iran and considered the option of pulling economic sanctions off the table, only leaving certain sanctions that protect us against Iran getting counterfeit paper or counterfeit ink. These are the things that they utilize to create money, which is not something we should ever allow them to do. But beyond that, we should have relaxed the standards, and we would have then opened up a dialogue with China, which is currently at a stalemate, all because we've arrested a woman, one of their blessed women who work for one of the most important telecommunications giants in China. All of this is because Donald Trump decided to impose economic sanctions on Iran. Now, I'm on record saying that I wouldn't have signed the treaty with Iran either, but I would not have imposed economic sanctions. I'm on record saying that. So having said that, I would continue to move in that direction. And I think Trump made a big mistake by imposing economic sanctions because it pushed this scenario forward. Iran is suffering economically as a result of these economic sanctions, but it's also pushing the scenario of them getting more assistance from Russia forward. So they may be just buying S-400s for Iran as well, not just Iraq. I'd never heard about the theory that Iraq was being pursued by Iran or by Russia, but now that's becoming more real as we go. Yeah, so we'll probably lose Iraq to the Shiite majority in Iran and the Shiite majority in Iraq. If that's what was coming down the pipeline, then why continue draining this dead horse and expecting something out of it? We literally are looking at a long-standing position in the Middle East that is counterproductive to America's interest. So I would make it very clear to Israel that we would give them air support if they were ever attacked, but I would not send troops into the Middle East and send young men off to war like Donald Trump could be doing in the next couple weeks. We don't know. So no threat of ground engagement would lower the stress with Iran and help begin the process of producing another treaty that makes sense without any money attached to it. The problem was we put money on the table, and we should never have allowed Iran to extort money from us. And now Iran may have dirt on Barack Obama and John Kerry, because John Kerry was seen in and around that area 3 days ago, as I reported earlier. Okay, the Iranian media is circulating an old stock photo and claiming it's tonight's attack. So I showed you this picture earlier that it's not a new photo, so they just showed an old stock photo of an attack, so they didn't even have photographs of the attack. This was on the Al-Assad thread. Allegedly, there's more attacks upon our embassy, according to this story. I can't confirm or deny that. You stand behind your country? Good. Are you working for Russia or Trump? Oh, so you're a Trump supporter? You support Russia then? Oh, okay, so a lot of you retardicans can go maybe take a trip to Russia and move in there? That'd be great. Leave Eric alone, yeah. So information is available about a Ukraine flight that took from the airport, instantly lost speed data, so it appears the plane likely was accidentally shot down by Iran's military. And Iran's government finally said it appears there are no survivors. So you're getting to the point where we think maybe the Ukrainian flight that left Tehran was shot down by the military in Iran because they're so edgy about being attacked. Like a friendly fire type of thing. Yeah, that's possible. It makes sense. We got the F-35. Yep. The plane that just doesn't do diddly squat. You're so proud of our troops this time? Yes. What have they done so far exactly? I think you should be... Well, they grounded all civilian flights hours ago, allegedly, but maybe that one was already in the air. It took off from their airport in Tehran. Why would they shoot it down? That makes no sense. And it's leaving the country.
معلوم این هواپیما سیم برق مواظب باشید او هواپیما بابا این پاکم چی صدا
Yeah, let me see what this says here. I will go to translations. Yeah, you get better pot in Oregon or Washington. I wouldn't bother going there. They claim in their news, their BS news, that their missiles killed 30 U.S. soldiers. Yeah, I would imagine they did that. Early images of a Ukrainian aircraft fire in the Sharia area. So that was the Ukrainian aircraft blown to bits we just looked at. Okay. Well, this is a very sad time for Ukrainians. 140 people on board, or 170 people on board, something like that. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll process all the news tomorrow after Trump declares war on Iran, or saber rattles. It's really just a diversion. Trump is doing this just to get our mind off of the impeachment trial, which Mitch McConnell is very, very quick to want to make this happen. He doesn't want to call any witnesses. He just wants to have a quorum call and just immediately absolve Donald Trump of any guilt. And doing the good work that Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch, wants to do. He wants to put this thing to rest because he's had orders from Moscow to do this. Or I think he has. What the hell are we doing?
And American interests.
Yeah.
Soleimani made it his life's work to take the Iranian revolutionary call for death to America and death to Israel and turn them into action. But this terrorist mastermind was not just a threat to the United States and Israel. For more than a decade, he masterminded Iran's malevolent and destabilizing work throughout the entire Middle East. He created, sustained, and directed terrorist proxies everywhere from Yemen to Iraq to Syria to Lebanon. Innocents were killed. These sovereign countries were destabilized. In Syria, this leading terrorist and his agents acted as strategists, enablers, and accomplices to Bashar al-Assad's brutal repression and the slaughter of the Syrian people. In Iraq, his violence expanded Iran's influence at the expense of the Iraqis themselves. His dark, sectarian vision disenfranchised countless Sunni Arabs and paved the way for the rise of ISIS. And with ISIS largely defeated, Soleimani and his agents again turned their sights on controlling the Iraqi people, who through massive protests are rejecting not only a corrupt government, but also Iran's influence over that government.
Oh, I really need to get more REM sleep. I just, God, he's painfully just boring. How did this guy get elected? Oh, that's right. Russia gave him $3 million to put an ad campaign and look like somebody with something to say. He gets elected with Russia's help. Yeah. Man, that guy's a sleeper. I'd rather listen to Mr. Rogers run for office. Would you like to hear my special encouragement? I was over visiting Mr. McFeely, and he said, Mr. Rogers, you sure feel good. You make me feel special. Do you feel special? I bet you do. You want to feel special. Well, Mitch McConnell is definitely proving to be a turncoat working for the Russians. We got that much. A lot of libtards out there are willing to work for the Russians. Communism and democratic activity are going hand in hand. And this Me Too generation is just, oh man, all these people are Democrats. What's the deal? Yeah, I don't get that. Why are they all Democrats? Tom Hanks a Democrat. Harvey Weinstein's a Democrat. Michael Moore is a Democrat. And they all want pedophilia to be like mainstreamed. It's like they want the LGBTQ movement to take precedent. You just changed the Stoma bag? Oh, good. Stoma fresh. Hey, if you want to hang out for Stoma Talk in the evenings, Anita comes in and talks about changing her colostomy bag, it kind of keeps you, realizing you're better off than poor Anita. She has to deal with that every day. Thanks, Anita, for reminding us how difficult life can be. No one wants to go through what you go through every day. Do you think Trump has pedo dungeons under Mar-a-Lago? Really? Well, there is evidence that Jeffrey Epstein has more than one location besides Little St. James. They've got Big St. James. So because Epstein probably is alive, he probably is down there right now waiting to hang out with Donald Trump when he flies in on that special visit with Air Force One. Maybe Trump will visit Jeffrey Epstein on Big St. James Island. They'll put it like a landing pad for Air Force One. And maybe Bill Clinton could go along, because I know he loves to ride in the planes to Jeffrey Epstein's secret place. And they all know that Epstein's alive. We don't. We're supposed to believe that he's dead. Yeah. So, hey, as long as they've got their secret little world and they've got all the power in the world to maintain it, nothing we can do to stop it. Now, this happened in Australia, but what's strange is looks like the same beams of light being witnessed over Iraq are also being witnessed in Canada at the same time. No one can explain what this was. Yeah, it's strange. Eerie beam of light. Is this coming from some satellite laser system? We don't know. No one can explain it. Nobody in the media can explain it. Okay, many of you are getting ready to bug out and get ready for the big, huge world WW3 apocalypse that you've been thinking was going to happen. Well, if you have a bug out bag in your house, I urge you to get one if you don't have one, and also put it in your trunk. Now, I went to put enough stuff in here to survive the apocalypse. I have it right here. This is a weatherproof container. You can put your cell phone in here. It'd be weatherproof. Yeah. And in it, I have the life-saving CBD oil, a lifetime supply of CBD included in the $10 price. That was just 4-function whistle. Wipes are an essential, though. I mean, 20 dude wipes. I'm good for at least 20 days of bug out after the apocalypse. I do for food supplies. I go to, well, you don't use toilet paper, Eric. That's for rich people. Yeah. Yeah, you get a bottle of a spray bottle of water with a strong stream on it. I call it Dave's Porta Bidet. Dave's Porta Bidet, that's your best way to deal with it. The problem is the water's kind of cold, Or you could just carry corn cobs around with you. Yeah, say you're having a big, huge deal on corn. You just keep the corn cobs in a bag with you and dry them out as they go. So you're always ready to go. But Dave's Porta Bidet is kind of like Dave's Fruit Enzyme Spray, but it's a bigger bottle with more spray. So you're always rinsing yourself off and rehydrating. Corn cobs, that's right. My father used corn cobs back in the 20s. Well, they lived on a farm, and they didn't have toilet paper readily available for average farmers. So, believe it or not, the Porta Bidet, electricity and no running water. You had a cistern with a pump. They had to take baths in one big bathtub. He always complained because he was the last one to get in the bathtub, and he had like 5 sisters. Garden for a situation, but always keep some food around in your car and maybe an emergency blanket or 2. I was kind of kidding about the bug out bag for $10. You can get something with a duffel bag and put a lot of good stuff in it. You definitely need a first aid kit, a water filter, and food, readily eatable food, not things you have to cook. The Great Depression, yeah. Many of you have never heard of this, apparently. You're too young, but the Great Depression was something that really took a lot of people down financially. Our country battled through it in the late 1920s. The crash occurred, And the 30s were very tough. And my grandmother raised my father and sisters, and it was a really horrific time. They had to eat out of the garden. That's all the food they could get. And using corn cobs for toilet paper was what they had with an outhouse. Those dude wipes, yeah, they're unscented too, and they're natural. I checked the contents; they're not really dangerous to your body. Dave, the directed energy weapons can't melt the plastic those containers are made of. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. So whatever's going on in the plastic container won't melt. You know, I think it could actually, if you put this in the microwave, it would melt the interior of the plastic, what's inside. Your dude wipes would start boiling. But you're right. The acrylic containers, they don't melt. Just like a garbage can. Or like a microwave container. My dad was born in 1924. And he only lived 77 years. Well, that's not bad. I mean, he would have lived a lot longer if he hadn't been exposed to Roundup. I'm pretty sure Roundup killed my father. Yeah, all of his problems started as a result of using Roundup for the first time. He's one of the first guys to use it. But my father fought in 3 tours of duty over in World War II, and he was one of the guys that won awards for valor. And he was instrumental in winning against the Japanese. And I guess I was lucky to have a dad, when you think about it. A lot of people never had fathers who died in Korea or Vietnam or in World War II. I never got anything like that from my dad, Carl. You're again violating our terms of service. Well, the fact that we have Stoma Talk is something we have to discuss, you know. The fact that we even bring it up here is part of the deal. We are open to chat of all kinds here. We can discuss anything here. It doesn't matter. And yeah, she never asked to have to deal with a colostomy issue. It was a terrible medical mishap that occurred with her. She's been forced into this body, forced to do this unbelievable task of taking care of herself with very little funds in England. Their healthcare system sucks. I mean, you wouldn't want to be in her shoes, Final. Pepe the Frog. I don't know, you wouldn't want that, no. So we had a lot of fun last night listening to Ricky Gervais on his famous roasting of the Golden Globes. Very funny guy. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hello and welcome to the 77th Annual Golden Globe Awards, live from the Beverly Hilton Hotel here in Los Angeles. I'm Ricky Gervais. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm not here to talk about him, but he made some statements about the secret pedophile activity going on in Hollywood, which are very, very explosive ideas to be discussing in front of a large group of pedophiles. So you got to wonder what's going to happen with this guy, Ricky Gervais. I'm glad he talked about these things, though. We have to speak about the truth. That's right, Pepe. I think it was meant to be funny. But at the same time, he did put the pedos in their place. But really? They wield the power. Yeah, apparently the people in Hollywood, a few years ago, John Travolta was in an encounter with, this is like 2010, 10 years ago. John Travolta had an encounter with a masseuse. And this whole story lasted all of one day. Travolta was accused of sexual assault. And in the first incident, Travolta allegedly groped a male massage therapist repeatedly and finally masturbated himself during the 2-hour session in a bungalow at the Beverly Hills Hotel. It was 2012. Sorry, I thought it was 2010. Yeah, so the story went away. It disappeared. Within one day, the whole story disappeared. But during the deposition, John Travolta, according to the deposition from the massage therapist who Travolta wanted to have sex with, allegedly, because this was never proven, the masseuse said that Travolta said that this is what you have to do to get ahead, is to give a head. Give oral sex to rich Jewish guys. That's what according to the masseuse, that's what he said in the deposition, that Travolta had said that. So you can only imagine how screwed up our Hollywood scene really is if that's the case. In order for men to be successful in Hollywood, they have to be male prostitutes performing oral sex on rich Jewish guys. We're not going to re-educate Iran. Iran's right now schooling Donald Trump in how to mellow out. Right. We'll see how that plays out. Now, Guest 448 has a different slant on that. He said the Scientologist targeted his accuser. I don't know what happened there, but these are all allegations that haven't been proven. But the very fact that this was even in a deposition is kind of funny, and it didn't last more than a day. The guy must have settled out of court because the whole thing went away.
Brian,
This guy has a way of healing the earth with cowboy toilet paper. Wow. We'll have to take a look at this cowboy toilet paper idea. Yeah, who doesn't want to find out about that?
my impression was that farmers, killed the mullen, like they chopped it down or whatever.
You would want to kill something like this? Look.
Well, I'll play it later tonight if it looks interesting, yeah. But this idea that people have to perform sex acts to get ahead in Hollywood is really just deplorable. That this industry has been using people, manipulating them and getting sex out of women when they just wanted to, move up in the ranks of getting a job. I'm beginning to think that the entire industry is wrought with this corruption. So as president, I would put an 800 number out there for people to call up who had complaints that they had to have sex with some producer. They have been known to go after those who try and make their stars look bad. Right. Okay. Shelley Miscavige. Let's take a look what happened to her. We are tracking information in the iBlog room right now. Oh, she's the wife of Church of Scientology leader David Miscavige. She was last seen in public in August of 2007. Oh, wow. I don't know what happened to her. She hasn't been seen in public for over 12 years. Do you know anything? She was brainwashed? Duh. Pelosi won't let her little baby go to the Senate because it's DOA. No, Pelosi has more dirt. Yeah, there's so much stuff on Donald's guilt that it's ridiculous. She's got a lot to work with. They've got 448 pages now unredacted of valid information about Donald Trump cheating in the election. Oh yeah, they've got articles of impeachment coming. More articles are coming. My question is, will the Democrats be bold enough to reveal that Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham are all working for Russia? I hope they are, because that's their one way out. If they can raise the bar of awareness that Mitch McConnell's getting money from Russia, and so is Lindsey Graham, they might have a chance to turn Congress around and turn the Republicans around. It'd be a bold move, but if they made their move quickly, there would be no backlash. The Democrats have already incurred a lot of crap from Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani about Joe Biden. But you notice that Rudy Giuliani has never, basically no one's ever charged Joe Biden with a crime. Yeah, all this talk about all the things going on with the Democrats being in bed with Russia, blah, blah, blah. How come they haven't come up with one prosecutable offense? Answer me that, you Republican QAnoners. Trump hasn't done anything to go after anyone in the deep state. You people don't get it. But the fact of the matter is, and this is the overriding truth, this meme says it all. And I think the Truth Tuesday, we can wrap this up. Yeah, the meme says it all. Haven't you figured out yet? It's not about Trump's corruption. It's about making sure you don't find out about their corruption. The Democrats. Yeah. Yep. They don't want anyone to know that they're getting money from Russia and Ukraine too. Giuliani took down the mob. Giuliani did not take down the mob. Pepe. The mob has been in control of our country ever since they took out John F. Kennedy and blew his head off. They're the ones that rigged the 9/11 story so that we all believed it was some fake event. Or worse, perpetrated by Saudi Arabians. Yeah, many people believe that 9/11 was perpetrated by Saudi Arabians. If you believe that, then you fell for the biggest story of all. Yeah. Yeah, there is one simple fact about 9/11 that keeps popping up, along with the fact that the 9/11 Commission report never really investigated the explosions that occurred in Building 6, or the fact that Building 7 was not hit by a plane, and there's no way structural damage could have taken it out. It would have required a massive, well, no plane could have ever done it. Thousands of experts and architects and engineers have said that there's no way a fire could have taken down Building 7. So, but the real smoking gun regarding 9/11, the one thing that is the biggest cover of all points to the FBI and their inability to show any more camera angles of the Pentagon being hit, other than one. And that was the telltale hitting of the Pentagon. One camera angle out of 83 camera angles showed the Pentagon, and we can clearly see it's not a plane, it's a missile. Watch this. You can see right there at the tip, look closer at the tip there of the screen. These are the 15 frames the FBI revealed. And you can clearly see this is not the tip of a 767 plane. Clearly. There are other telltale signs, like how did the plane go through the Trade Center and come out with a nose cone fully intact? Stories like that just don't make any sense. A nose cone is made out of fiberglass. How could it go through an entire building and still remain intact? And this is definitely not a plane. That's a Tomahawk missile headed at our Pentagon. The Office of Naval Intelligence, which was struck directly and killed 127 people. Insert scary music. So if you're not asking big questions right now about the authenticity of all the stories we've been told by our corrupt government, then at the very least, don't freak out that they're going to start a war right now. This is just a vain attempt to keep our mind off of the fact that Donald Trump works for Russia.
I can't talk. What do I do?
Well, expose these people, Joe. They're not prosecuting you. Go ahead and expose them. Keep talking. All right, this is me signing off. I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 5 p.m. for Wasteful Wednesday. I'll be in the show till 1 in the morning, though, to watch videos with you. Enjoy. I am doing it every night. against all odds, nobody can stop me. They try to censor us, but they can't stop a third party from reaching out, talking about the truth, and trying to unite the country in the middle of the political spectrum. I don't want to take away your rights to bear arms. I'm unlike the Democrats that way. I will not, gun control will not be put on the table. We won't discuss it. And I'm not going to be like the Democrats and push an LGBTQ agenda. I'm not that kind of weirdo. And I'm not a leftist and a communist like Bernie, who wants to take away your property rights and have you all driving bicycles by 2030 or 2040. I'm simply the right guy at the right time. I'm Mr. Right. Thank you for watching. Take care.
My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true. My world around, cause you're the peace I find. If you sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true.